Mic check. Hello, hello. So, how do I do this? Leave the studio. Okay. Hold on, everybody. I need to get the link. I have to redo the link. I completely fucked this up. Hold on. If you can see me, hold on, please. Hold on 1 sec. Enter studio. Okay, can you y'all? You guys are back. Yeah, at least you guys know what's going on. Okay, yeah, just hang in there. I have to go. I ended the stream. Didn't leave the studio. I did it the wrong way, so it killed the whole thing. Seems to be okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna repost. I'm gonna post some links real quick while we do this, so you guys will see me looking at the computer, looking all weird. So just hang tight, please. I appreciate it. I do. I really do. Okay. Let's do this here, create. I'm gonna have to redo the whole thing later on anyway. That just completely pinched. I hope it works. Let's see, I haven't checked the lag yet. Okay, add title, whoops. New stream link, hold on 1 second. I'm in, oh, that's weird. I'm in Patreon, I can see myself, that's trippy. New stream link, hold on. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna post this next. Hold on 1 sec. Everyone, okay, got that in the Patreon. If you have YouTube notifications, it'll probably work for those guys. Instagram, I just have to do without right now. Publish, yeah, fucking click, dude. Jesus, bro. I'm not a big fan of the latest Mac stuff. Like, it's not holding up. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, share public post. You know, like my mouse is kind of like glitchy. Nope, okay. All right, hold on. Hang tight. Hold on, we're fixing a technical difficulty here. Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Hold on, one more post. Please click on post above this one now. This one. Okay, all right. Do that. Let me go back to this. What are we over here? Click out of that. Hold on 1 second. Duplicate this. Okay, is this guy on? I think that guy's on. Yep, he's on. Okay. Hang tight. Setting up second camera. I'm actually pretty fast with this. It's still pretty, like, takes a minute, but I'm quick enough. Okay, mute that. So there's no double sound. Add to stage. Okay. It is a Matrix moment. Okay, are we good? We got most people back. 23. We got half of you guys back. The rest will have to catch up. This seems. I turned the light on so it's a little brighter. Yep, I think we're good. Oh man, hold on 1 sec. All right, that's annoying. I got it. Since the loss. Yeah, Steve Jobs. Yeah, it's. I tell you, it does feel. James Alexander. It. You know what I'm saying? Like you could. It like the sense is like it's not as durable as things used to be. Anywho, okay, get this out of the way. Let me catch back up. I apologize again to everybody. Pete Toohey. Ah, hello DC. How are you? Jeff Longman, you made it. Nice. Okay. Maybe the double notification. We get more viewers. Yeah, I know it's coming back in. Everyone's coming back in. Okay, sweet. Aussie Stew. Type in atomic bomb codes. Yeah. We can see you. Thank you. Okay, great. Everybody's here. Hello, hello, hello. Robert, hello again. Okay, seems okay. It does. Is it? I look a little peaked. I might be hungover, but that's. We're not going to get into that. Turn the brightness up here. Hold on. Okay. Is that all right? I'm just checking. Okay. Swap this. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. Zoom, zoom. All right. Nice. Okie doke. All right. So where was I? Okay, let me get these out of the way because they're big and bulky. I'm pretty excited about this. I know it's been kind of low key. So what I did, if you recall, was we've switched to book jackets on Tank Art 2. We're going to pursue that through Tank Arts moving forward for sure. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the SM books, if we'll get in it. We probably will at some point in time. Just for right now, it's mostly a Tank Art book jacket thing, but Tank Art 2 kind of kicked that off, where that's an outside separate dust jacket. And then therefore what I could do is offer you guys like a custom jacket program. You guys have all seen this before. Here's the other Tank Art 2. This is the vintage one. And then what we're going to be doing, just as a quick refresh, is we're going to be going to kind of more of a, to speak of Apple, which is hilarious. It's kind of Nogs here. Yep, okay, good. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Everything's coming in good. It seems like the lag's gone. So it's just like a modem restart seems to be the thing. If it starts up again, I apologize. Anywho, I was prepped for that too, like 3 hours ago, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, these guys are on the plane coming to us. So they are on the website, accessories, because leaning into that. And there's 4 of them for the first 4 Tank Arts, which are pretty cool, and they're very limited. There's only, we're cutting these to 25 sets each. So just so you know, I'll cut that down from 50 a little bit, because we have more, we're going to do more designs, in other words. Okay, these guys. Get into this real quick. Hold on. Okay, put this over here a little bit more. So as you recall, a few months ago, connected with a Japanese company called Asunarow Model, and I debuted kind of, this is the nipper rest. I debuted some other parts from them. We have engaged ourselves in a partnership, a program of branded products, which is pretty cool, and Patreon got to see this before the holidays, and they basically bought most of them, so that's why I didn't really get into a public announcement of it yet, because we have more coming, we have more stock coming in and stuff like that. But it's, so these are all made in Japan by Asunarow Model, and it's a partnership deal with RSP. Super happy about it. We have 4 items, 2 left in stock. The other 2 have already sold out. The OPR set already sold out yesterday. And the nipper, we have the nipper rest, which is this dude, which I've turned into a brush holder too, by the way. So you can use it 2 ways. This is his OG set in the walnut. We sell ours with the snow white wood laminate. And I've turned mine into my brush holder, which works pretty good too. I like that. I'm gonna go quickly on this. If you need to see more details and videos and stuff of these things, are on the website, on the RSP website. We do have a lot of other stuff coming, as this is just the opening round. So we have a base. Well, that was, is the lag back? The lag is back. I can't, yeah, I can't. I don't know what's wrong, guys. It might be StreamYard. It could be something with Google Chrome. But yeah. Yep, it's back. I don't know what it is. We might cut this one short. This isn't gonna, it's because it's probably not gonna work. Okay, hold on. Output. Let me turn the volume down on that. Okay, I keep hearing myself. Okay. We'll just deal with the lag for now, best I can. It just seems to be kind of coming and going. All right, anywho, I redid all connections, I replugged everything in, but anyway, we got the nipper rest. This one's still in stock. It's designed for 3 sets of nippers, and then it's got a couple extra holes, top and bottom, and it does position itself, or can be positioned one of 2 ways, so it can go this way on this side here, or it can go this way as well. So you can go kind of a vertical stack or a horizontal stack on this guy. Pretty cool, do like them. Grab them while they're hot, because they ain't gonna be around long, that's for sure. So again, this is the nipper with that, and then this guy here is this one's already sold out, so I apologize, but they are going pretty quickly. So he developed kind of a glue holder and a brush holder, and then we did kind of a quick impromptu oil paint rendering holder for the palette and for the thing here, the thinner. So that dude slots into there, and so you have a little OPR for the holds of this little tray holds the cardboard. We do everything normal, then we put the thinner right here, and there you go. It's a really nice little set, super happy with it. We're gonna tweak it a little bit over time, and we're gonna do some accessories for it as well, because we have some slots and some other stuff. We can do some different pieces for it, and we'll offer those as like secondary sets as well. But again, it's got the logo and everything on it, which is really nice. Super happy with that. Popped in right before Christmas. Again, Patreon boys got the early heads up on that, and they scored most of them. So yeah, But they're on the website, accessories, click accessories, that's where you'll find all this stuff. Yeah, pretty sweet. There you go. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna keep moving because I don't know how the lag's gonna hold up. Let's see, I need to get this guy out of here. Don't really plan to do any oil paints today, so just so you know, just a heads up. I'm getting some decals right now. So we got painting base and the nipper rest on the website. All right, back to the program. We're holding up. Let's see what we got. All right, what do we have? Everybody good? Anybody I missed on the hellos, welcome back in. If you missed the opening part, we had a little technical difficulty. Thank you, David. I'm glad you liked the book. Let's see what else. P2, I said hello. Yeah, you're fine. I'm glad. James Vincent's here. Okay, everybody's back. Okay, sweet. Let me do this. Decals, decals, decals. All right, this is probably one of those. This is one of those things where it's just I keep putting it off, partially because, like I said, it's a very, very involved process, as you guys well know. Oh, and here is the aircraft holder set, but these are long sold out, so I just, you know, you're gonna have to deal with that not being available. But they're really cool, super slick. Okay, so decals on Mission Models paints as well. We'll get into this. Decals on a matte painted surface. Let me get into it. Let me walk through this a little bit before you guys really go back and forth. Kind of chill, relax, have a drink. Just kind of let me walk it through. I've got, as I said before, when I did in the first part of the stream, what I did was kind of Martha Stewart some stuff. I got some prep. We're going to do some application. We're going to do some other stuff with the Mobius airbrushes, just so you know, on the stream. And then we're gonna roll it back into. We'll do some painting later on at the end of it. I have another aircraft kit we can do some kind of airbrushing with too, just to showcase the Mobius airbrushing and stuff, while we kind of do decals in between because you need the time. So anyway, these are BRG is Decals on Mission Models Paint Direct. These are ancient micro scale, maybe 40-year-old decals from the 80s. These are a combination of Hobby Boss decals. I forget who else. I used an aftermarket set as well, a combination for the Black Widow. Again, all directly over Mission Models paints. There's no varnishes involved except at the very end. Again, let me get through it. I'll walk you through it. Hang tight on the decal questions. Yeah, you can use heat to deform these a little bit. Yeah, you can if you wanted to. I don't really ever get into it. Even with the Tamiya decals, you don't really need to. Okay, so that is kind of what we're going to talk about to start. And it's also the exact same process that I did on this guy. So you have, let's see, where's my little focal stretch? Okay, let me do this too. Let me zoom a little bit in for you guys. Oops, not that window, this one. Nope. Where's this guy? Zoom, zoom, hold on. There we go. A little zoom, zoom. Okay, those are Tamiya decals. That's a spray mask, and then that is Bison decal aftermarket. All done the same way, all over Mission Models paint raw, nothing underneath, and there's just a top coat of a matte varnish on top and spot sprayed. So we'll get into that. I'll walk you through it, whole thing. Again, hang tight on a lot of that stuff. Let me get through it before we really get, because what's going to happen is I'm going to keep answering questions and never get anything done. That's not what we want today. So just, I'll try to get through everybody's as we kind of get rolling here on all this stuff. So this guy over here, same thing. Okay. Okay, decal prep. Again, the lag is back, so I apologize. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Quantum Plastics says hello. Okay, so, fuck me, dude. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Are we back? Okay. Yeah, I apologize. There's literally nothing I can do about it, unless I kill the stream and it's something to do with my internet. But same thing. These are Tamiya Charby 1 decals. Pull these guys over here. So, you know, when you talk about thick with the double C, okay, that's this sheet. This is the Charby 1 sheet from Tank Art 2. You know, they're notoriously fairly thick on the thicker side. And we'll go through all three of these. I have the basics, MicroSet-Sol, and I have Gunzi's Mr. Mark Setter, Mr. Mark Softer, and then I have the newer or currently available Tamiya Mark Fit Strong. And we'll walk through that, but basically, again, all raw Mission Models paint, Tamiya decals on top, matte coated. So this is the Martha Stewart. So I've got this. This is the blue heart. onto here. There's a number of applications, and again, I'll walk you through the whole thing. Same thing over here. So we're going to matte coat these later. So I get into focus. I have to stay in the focus ring. And you can see that's a Tamiya decal draped over a molded wire on the side of the turret there, and it snugs down quite nicely. Yeah, Pending House. Yeah, those are ancient, dude. Yeah, if you're using Pending House decals, those are ancient. You can probably move on to something else for sure. Okay. So what I want to do is apply a decal today, and also, because I've been meaning to do this for a minute and we haven't gotten to it, but we will do, I think I have time to squeeze this guy in too. So there is another range of decals out there for other stuff besides markings, and Aviattic, which is a World War I aircraft manufacturer or kit maker, decal maker, they do these, as you can see on screen there, it's kind of a textural linen fabric, which they use for aircraft of pre, 1920s and all that kind of fabric covered aircraft and stuff like this. They have some solid sheets. These are big, giant A4 size sheets. It's clear decal film, and then what you do is you apply. Now I modify their directions a little bit. So just again, if you're unfamiliar with this, all I'm doing is I have a Mission Models primer. It's in a light tannish color coat. That's all I need to do. And then what happens is when you apply this decal, it's clear with the green ink in it, and then you apply it over this, and it should look like that. So we're gonna do some seat fabric with decals, which should be kind of cool. So let me get going. I have some water, everything's room temperature, and no varnishes to start. What I will do later on is I will do a matte varnish with this stuff, because I think it works really well, gives you a good matte coat. And to that end, what it should look like is like this. So that is basically all Mission Models paints, chipped and worn and everything like that. Decals were applied. There's actually some previous layers of oils on here too for weathering. Still applied it directly over all of that. Put the decal down, did the solution, and then when it was dry and ready to go, I did it with the matte varnish over that. So that'll be like what it looks like at the final result. Same thing with this guy. This is all Mission Models paint. This orange paint here is all Mission Models, all been chipped, scratched, worn, OPR, the whole fucking thing. Effing thing, sorry for the French. To my French people out there. Marino, hello buddy. And then that white decal is the said white decal 205 from Mr. Tamiya sheet there anyway. So that is a Tamiya decal over Mission Models paint raw, same thing, and then dusted with a little bit of a matte varnish up on top to kind of do its thing. So there's that. Hello Florian. Just want to wish you Happy New Year. Almost midnight in January. Yeah, we had a bad delay with the computer lag. It's coming and going, but all right. And then I have for today was some wings that are painted up in Mission Models. So this is a 72nd scale German night fighter wing, Arado C240, right? That's what it is. They're all ready to go, and we'll put some decals on this guy. So I'll show you how you apply the decal. We'll use a wing. Do I have other? And we'll do some of this stuff too. Okay, I should have it. I'm a little bit off my game now that restart. Okay, so. Yeah. Good stuff there. Well, we'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't do this, by the way. just stencil. Don't be that guy. Just stencil. Just airbrush stencil. Question: have you ever used Micro's mask for chipping effects? Micro mask. Who makes MicroMask? If you're talking like a liquid, yes, I have. It's just kind of it's an older way to do things, Jim Altergott. In terms of you apply like a liquid, I mean, it's still viable, don't get me wrong. But when hairspray came around, we didn't do that as much. You know, I had was it Mr. Neo was the one we used the most. Okay, I'm just cutting out a decal. I'm not gonna worry about the film edges. I'm not gonna be super slick or anything like that. This is about let's see, how old is this dude? It was sealed. Revell monogram, 1996. Okay, we in, right? Okay, here we go. Okay, all right, let me get my brain on. I need to get my head together here. Will you have time to talk about Edward decal that's supposed to? No, I won't. I have not even seen those in person, Sylvain, honestly, at this point in time. We could save it for a future stream for sure. I'll get into newer Edward kits for sure and some of the Edward decals, and it's a whole other thing for sure, but yeah, let's see how this goes. This may not work. Condensation. Okay, Jim, no worries. You're talking about chipping, Jim. I'm going to stay on decals for right now. because I have to stay focused on this because it requires brain power on this one. So if I don't get to it, we'll talk about shipping later on, but it's yeah, let me know if these dudes even work. Tweezers, we need some tweezers. How are we doing over here? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, everybody can see that. Okay. I don't know how long these are going to need to do their thing. Let me get a couple going. Actually, these are Italerys off the Huey. I'll do the Army one because there's clear film behind it, and you guys are going to want to see that. Solid markings are pretty straightforward. They're not super hard, but I'll do the ones with the clear film so we can kind of challenge ourselves today a little bit. Get that dude in there too. I think these aren't cartographed, but they're the newer Italeri decals from Zangetti. Yeah, not cartographed, but still okay. Okay, I just have some regular water. They're just sitting in water. I have some paper towels. You're gonna need some cotton swabs, Q-tips as we call them. Let's see, gonna get a soft one, and then these guys are really good too, and I'll show you what we do with all that stuff. 1996 was just a few years ago, Wayne. It is like literally last week, right? Okay. So decals, get them soaking. What you're gonna wanna do, the first step that I do, the first thing I look for is I wanna get them to come off loose off the backing sheet. And these are old, this glue may not work, I don't know. Let's see if that's gonna, yeah, these are high risk. Is that guy gonna move at all? Yeah, I'm gonna guess the Revell decal. I'm not even gonna waste my time on that. We'll stick to this dude, since we have an Army green wing anyway. And then while that's doing its thing, we'll see if we get to this today because we have to do the Mobius airbrush test a little bit later. I'm gonna try to hustle. I'm gonna move pretty quickly. Primer, Mission Models Chrome for the metal, and then they're olive drab. And then it's a little burnishing, little chipping, and boom, done. We'll throw a decal on that. We'll see how that goes. Happy New Year, Northern Nevadan. Let's see, hope Tech Mod will produce more Army decals that are fantastic, right up there with Cartograph and Echelon. Question, have you ever used MicroMark for chipping? Okay, you guys are just chilling. Yeah, again, this is why, this, you know, this whole process with decals, it's like literally, it's like watching paint dry. Come here, little bugger. I don't know how long these, the Tommy ones I let soak for a while. But what you're looking for here, if we get on camera, Michael, okay. What you're looking for is the decal to move like that. So it's really close. Okay, we could probably, let me soak it for a second longer. Whoops, it came off. We get on there. Okay, it's ready. Okay, get all the, come on, Michael. Get all the water out. Get all the water off. Well, not, I mean, as much as you can. Okay, hold on here. My camera's in the wrong. Let me go up a little higher. Okay. All right, so what you're looking for is this. You want the decal to be able to move and come off. You want it like that. Not on your tweet, okay. So from there, Italeri, let's do MicroSet first, just because we're gonna roll in a little bit cautious today. Just because nothing's going well, so that's as to be expected. Okay. Make sure this dude's good. Okay, MicroSet. Everybody good? Gently apply that, kind of in the shape, just like that. Come here. Like for real? Come on, Jesus Christ. At least you get to see bullshit. Okay, actually not bad. All right, don't mess with it just yet. Get this out of the way. Okay. Get that kind of, same thing, Q-tip kind of wet, but not wet. Hang on questions, guys. Let me get through this. Okay. And also no water in your hands. Have something to hold your stuff with. These are test pieces. And on mission, if you have any overflow like that, don't touch it for now. Get that down, and I'm just gently tapping in place for now. And then I'm gonna push and roll. So I'm squeezing it out. I'm pushing down and rolling. I'm trying not to shift it. That's kind of the key element here. So I'm pushing and rolling, pushing and rolling. Don't slide your thing. You want to push down and roll. Push down and roll. And you can use these guys too. These guys are a little bit better. I use a softer one, kind of the initial thing. Okay. So far I didn't ruin the paint, thankfully. All right. There's a little bit of wrinkling, okay. So I'm just trying to get it looking pretty good. And this is MicroSet-Sol, and we'll get into the other decals here. What's up, Jim? How are you, brother? No, there's no poly. It's a pure matte surface. Jonathan Phillips says hello, greetings, finally able to catch a live feed. Oh no, the boys are here. Yeah, everybody good, okay. Yeah, question, what happens with decals that get wet while still on the sheet? Spilled water on them still, yeah, you should be okay. Oh, you mean like if you spilled water like on this, Brian? Like that? Like if you spilled water on that? I did actually on one of these. I forget which one had a little bit of a spillage. If it dries and nothing happens, it should still be workable if you're going to use them for sure. Okay, what you can do now is that's on there. That's fine. Switch to the Sol, and let me show you what I do. And it's as simple as this. I don't do anything really that different to decals. As you can see, you don't mess up the paint. Control and precision, patience, patience, patience. Today's not the day for it, unfortunately. Okay, kind of unload your brush a little bit on the paper towel. And then what you want to do is you just want to apply the MicroSol, if you're using this stuff. I unloaded too much. Just over the decal. Use the light refraction to kind of see what you're doing. You don't want to disturb the paint too much. You have a little bit of a risk with that, of course, because it is mission. The thing with mission paint, this is the trick with the decals with mission paint in particular, because I know a lot of you guys have problems. Get the water out. So when you saw me take it out of the water onto the paper towel, get the water off of that decal, and do not try to slide the backing out from under the decal over the paint, because that is a wet piece of paper over mission model's paint, which is water reactive, and you will disturb the paint, which is what a lot of you are probably experiencing when you say decals ruin my mission paint. So here's the other side of this conversation, and this is where, hello Matt B, hello sir. Yeah, you guys are midnight, 1 a.m. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. This is the main crux of it right now. You'll have to do that. Now this is a nice decal, by the way. GAAHLERI always delivers at least decals, right? The Italians do great decals, so this decal's nice. It's almost aftermarket quality. But what I will do, depending on the decal, depending on how many times, is you just keep applying the solutions on top over and over and over again for probably 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 days if you have to, depending on how thick and how obtrusive the decal is. The Tamiya ones are pretty tough. To Brian, your Sol 40K dude today. So that is the triple layer red white decal here. Try to get that light to catch that. That red's over a white, so it's really double thick in ink. And what I've done is I've applied, this is the old Mission Models paint test piece and the chipping piece. That's applied over that. Same process you saw here. And then I've done maybe a dozen layers of solution. And I even sanded it down a little bit too. We're not matte coated yet, but it's getting thinner. This one took a while. The blue one wasn't as bad. It seems to have less ink than the red. I'm guessing red ink and decals is one of those, it just takes more pigments to get the opacity. You can see here, that is the blue heart, and that's what you want to see when you're done. That's a thick Tamiya decal. We've kind of, what the solutions do, the Sol, the softer, and the Mark Fit Strong, and there's some others, what they do is dissolve that decal down so it looks painted on. What most of you guys do is cut this off way too short. You get it on there, you do a couple solution baths, You wipe the whole thing, da-da-da-da-da, you over varnish, you think it's happy, then you spray the varnish. Well, you've got a real thick layer of chemicals on there now between your varnishes, your thick decal that you didn't really dissolve down because you became impatient, not to be an a-hole, but it's just the truth. And decals require a ton of patience to get them to really, really do their thing. You know, no film, snug down over all the jimmy jams on the surface, and then you just do a little spot spray of the matte to reset it if you're in the military conversation, or you move on if you're in a glossy, you know, other kind of conversation with your other varnishes and stuff. But as you can see here, MicroSol's kind of gets a little slightly wrinkly. That's traditional MicroSol. And I would do this. Just be a little bit careful. Don't want to spill anything. Okay, coming in here. Actually, what I do need, because my vision's going bad. I think you answered my question from, yeah, and that's why I said let me get through the decal stuff first, because I will probably answer the questions by showcasing this. Okay, so we can see here how we on camera. Okay, that's not bad. Seems like the lag finally calmed down. Okay, see how I just brushed the sol? It's too wet. Get that out of there. Just over the decal. So this is number 2. And I'm using the light to catch the edge of that film so I can see it. And it's already snugging down nicely in the panel line right here. Again, these are nice decals, these AviatTic decals. And so what you'll do, or what you're trying to do before you do anything else in terms of your thing, your finish of the project, because it's consistent with everything. What I'm trying to do right now is get rid of the clear film. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing this process. MicroSol and MicroSet are a little bit on the less aggressive side, but they work perfectly with most decals out there. So it's a really nice product. It's the standard, at least in the North American community, in terms of decaling, Decals, for you guys not in North America. But this stuff here, the Asian decals in particular, kit decals like this that are still nice. And here's a Hasagawa sheet too. You know, you can see here. You can see the thickness of some of those. So this is an old course. This is actually a nice sheet too, by the way. I'm trying to avoid using it, but I really want to do the navy ones here. But anyway, this kind of stuff, what I recommend is anything of that vernacular, the thicker ones, switch over to the Gunzi and the Tamiya products for your solution. So this guy, again, you're going to need to do this for hours, if not maybe 2 days, 3 days, see how it goes. Just exactly as you saw. And what you want to do is when this evaporates, it's a nice day to day, at least inside, so it's evaporating pretty quickly, like it's not leaving any kind of spots or bubbling up. Sometimes it'll pool up a little bit. So just like, for example, I think I think you guys can maybe see that there's a little bit of a circle there. You see that in the center of the heart? I had a little bit of a solution turn into like a drop, and then I didn't catch it. It didn't. So you want to keep kind of, you know, brushing this over just like this. See how I just brush it right over the heart itself? See if I can catch it. That's all I'm doing. I don't get that solution anywhere else. And sometimes what happens, if you put too much solution underneath and then you put the decal down, it'll squeeze it out like you saw this thing catch them. My tweezers here, hold on. I should make sure that too. You want really good. I've probably got something on here that caught the decal. You want to make sure your tweezers are good. And use your better tweezers for this stuff. You can see I did tear that one there a little bit. I was doing a coaching session, so I got a little bit carried away. But anywho, you can see it's already kind of dried. And you just keep doing this and keep doing this. And sometimes it's 15, 20, 30 applications, just like what you saw, just like this. See, there's just a little bit there. Take your time. There's no rush. Get this all done. Because if you do this right, then you're going to be gold. Literally, you could be. So. Mr. Doomer, MF Doomer TV, I'm currently attempting to do a metal finish for the first time using Alclad. Any tips? Thank you for what you do. Yeah, you guys help them on Alclad. I don't actually use Alclad. Question, do you let the MicroSol dry before the next? Yes, you want to you want to dry it in between. You don't keep building up wet. Dave Brown from Hornet says using drawing pins to make tiny holes in the film. You can if you need holes for the stuff to go. I didn't need any holes for the wire. There's a wire there and the red's kind of over that. You can see that it went nicely on this side here. Same thing. It depends on the piece. So like for example, there's these tiny little slots on this dude. See those little grooves? And in my case, I took a sharp knife and cut that after it dried. Don't cut your decals when they're wet. And you know, if you have a panel line, this one's not too bad. you don't probably need to run that through. See, that's going down pretty good. But Italy decals are nice. I will say that much. Okay. But that's raw Mission Models paint, matte, no poly, no nothing, no nada, no huda, whatever. It's all been chipped, it's worn, it's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I'm trying to showcase here is when you see guys, hey, I did this, and then like for particularly with Mission because it's water soluble, what you're probably doing, like I said, is you're dragging that backing sheet out across the top of the surface because that's the other traditional way to do that. So per the Asian way of doing it, per the gunpla community, per kind of the Japanese model building community because they're big at this, when you take your decal, separate it first, then lay it down neat onto the solution. And it takes a little bit. But yeah, if you guys got to bounce, have a good night. I apologize for the hour. Using microscale method has been my standard for applying decals for a long time. Require more, yep, usually work out good. And so that's what it is. It's just depending on the decal, how thick it is, and what's going on is how many solutions you're going to do it. When it starts to look really good, and you'll see it, you know, you'll see that thing looks almost painted on, then you can do your matte coat on top. So let's do another one. We'll just do it over here. So here's more Mission Models painting, same process, so with chrome underneath and then some burnishing, chipping, you know, getting kind of a Southeast Asia, Vietnam, kind of Sky Raider-esque. We were doing some stuff on Patreon with this whole thing. Again, just raw paint over the chrome, get a real nice aluminum chip out of that, kind of a wear and tear, and then we're gonna drop a decal right over this guy, so hopefully you don't mess this up. Do we have a star and bar? I think we do. We have a star and bar. Let's do a little star and bar. Okay, these are all 72nd scale wings, so they're in thing. But I do have, and we'll get into that in a second. Okay, how are we doing in time? Okay. So again, these are so nice. I used to have those really nice decal scissors, but I don't know where they went. I've lost my scissors. Okay, into said water, just room temperature water, just tap water. There's nothing special. There's no hot water, whatever. So just whoop, there, hanging out, having a good time. Okay, is that MMP chrome? Yes. Just stuff. And I'll spray it later, Brian. This is the one you want? If you're into the, I mean, it's not pure water based, it's probably a little bit heavier duty. It's good. What I'm using it for is, don't worry about the name, I'm using it for aluminum. Basically raw metal underneath paint. I'm not using it for chrome. For chrome purposes. But no, I have, while that's doing its thing, I think this will be the one we use today, just because it showed up in the mail, and it's just, well, I mean, I'm not going to be rude. It's another one of Hobby Boss's quick, what do they call these dudes? The easy assemble. It's a 109, the F. It's all riveted to holy heck and back, so it's going to be a good spray. We'll do the Mobius spray painting, primer. We'll do metal. We'll do a chrome. And then we'll do some German camo with the Mobius airbrushes in about like a half hour, 45 minutes or so. Shouldn't be too long. And I'll break down the Mobius airbrush in comparison with the original GAAHLERI airbrushes so we can see the parts difference, because there's a number of significant changes within these fellers. There's a number of changes inside from back to front in the Mobius airbrush compared to the 39. However, these are still brilliant little airbrushes. I still use my 39 for almost everything still. And I have not sprayed these yet other than some water, so we will get a in-your-face testing, see how this goes, mofo, Jimmy Jam, good times. And I have the 2 and the 3. They sent me both. So thank you to GAAHLERI when you guys see this, appreciate that. And then we'll do some fuselage painting on said 109. Won't do any decals on it today, but we'll probably swing that one back around for some decals in the future and stuff like that. These are probably not bad. The modern Hobby Boss decals aren't too bad either. Sometimes they're even cartographs, I think, depending on what the kit is. Okay, let's see if we got a little. So again, the first thing I'm doing here is get this out of the way, is pull this over here. So what I want to do is make sure that moves, okay? Now, get all the water off. And less water on your model is going to be better anyway. It doesn't matter the paint brand, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to nail it, Northern. You got to get it right, brother. Don't mess around with it too much. That's on you. You got to really, you know, that's kind of the other side of it. It's not a magic thing. And if you are like that, where you just have a lot of problems, then put the poly in it, dude. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Don't overthink it. Don't make this too hard. You don't probably do a lot of matte stuff like this anyway, from what I understand, so I don't think it's a big deal. Question, your experience, Mike, is there any aftermarket decal sets to avoid? Would you say, David, Pending House? Yeah, those are pretty old. It really, it's just age. There's not like, I don't think there's bad decal. I don't know. Is there still? You know, some of the Decal Star stuff, some of the Bison stuff's pretty old. Some of the Echelon's pretty old. It's mostly an age thing. Like I'm sure the glue, I'm sure the ink or the adhesive glue on this dude. Yeah, that's not even coming off the paper. So it's mostly an age thing with decals. It's the glue inside or underneath. You know, it just would kick off like a dry transfer goes bad. Okay, so let's see. We have it moving around. We have a little, get that off of there. Get as much water off as you can. Okay, so it should. And then you kind of want to gently. And then you want to be able to. Okay, that's kind of ready to go. Set that down for a second, and I'll use the. We'll use Gunzies for this. And we'll go. It's a setter softer. Okay. So what I do with this stuff here. Okay, same thing. These have these plastic brushes in them. These things are pretty gnarly. I actually don't. You know what I do is I set the cap down gently aside. Clean my brush up a little bit here, and I'll do the same thing. Go to this. Just get a little of this guy. Just a little, it's probably a smidge too much. Come on. Really? It's like everything, dude. Okay, get that off. And see, it's got a registration problem, so it's not the best decal. Okay. Okay, so if you have to position it to Northern's comment. Okay, that's snug down right away. Don't really do much. If you really have to shift that, good luck. Good luck, Broham. Can't answer all the questions. Okay, same thing. Push and roll. Push and roll. Push and roll. Okay. That gets most of everything out. There's a little bubble right there. I don't know if I can get that guy. Can you guys see that? Okay, let me, hold on, can I see that? Yeah, there we go, okay. Seems like the lag is, I don't want to jinx anything, but it seems like, so I'm just tapping down some stuff. Again, you can take the tight ones and roll them. Yeah, you can see the registration's off. There's a white edge to that. It's disappointing. Okay. So the key part of that is, you'll actually find out too though, by the way, yeah, you do have to kind of do it right the first time. But when you separate it like this, so what happens is, when you're trying to pull the whole, like you've got the whole thing and you're trying to do this whole thing of pulling this guy out and get that thing, you know, like that's a double hit of risk. So by getting the sheet, the backing sheet out of the way, and then really just working the decal in location, you have a much better opportunity to get it right the first time, or at least close enough the first time. And again, this is, you know, for other paints, it's probably not anywhere near as high risk, but Mission is water soluble or erasable. So it's like a watercolor in that regard. So that's why I'm being overly, you know, careful with it. But I mean, you know, you go to other chemicals, it's going to be a little bit less stressful. But you can see there's a little bit of thickness there. There's not much. Not bad. It's good decals. So that's the setter. Get that. So it's a chemical conversation with decals. That's kind of where I was trying to go with a lot of this. You really want the solution under the decal first. That's a priority number 1. Get the backing sheet out. That's priority number 2. Get the water off of everything. That's priority number 3. Get it in spot. Priority number 4. Roll it out. Push and roll. Don't drag. Don't brush. Don't use your brush. Push and roll. Right here. Push and roll. So that gets it in place. Then you switch to your softer or your Sol, whatever the second one is. Same thing. I don't use these brushes. So come in here, get a little bit on that dude, kind of unload it, control that, and then all you want is it just over the actual decal itself. No, dude, that's just being a baby, Morrison. You know that. Because you can use the poly too. I mean, it's a great product. I mean, this will work fine too. It's just tedious. Stencils are tedious anyway. I mean, an F4, F15, don't matter. All the modern jets with the stencils is tedious. See how it's starting to pool like that? You guys can see that? So you keep brushing that, smoothing that out. This is potent stuff. It'll probably truth is it'll layer decal pretty good. And I'm gently like a feather. Try not to disturb the paint. And I'm just kind of spreading that. It's kind of a thick gel-like. It's already going into the panel lines good. It's already snugging down up close. So get that, unload that brush. You've got enough solution on the thing here. Just kind of gently spread that around. Again, this is a pretty aggressive solution for this branded decal, so just be careful. You can see it's kind of, you can see it's working it pretty good. And then at that point in time, realistically, at this point in time, you just let it dry for now and then see how it looks. Give it a good hour, you know, let it dry. You know, it should start to really look, you know, it should start to look like this guy, the whole premise here. Okay, so that's number 2, Gunzi. Do we have time for one more? Are we doing on time? Yeah, we got time. It goes pretty quick in this regard. Okay, here's another one, same thing, same chipping, burnishing, scrubby, scroop, good stuff. A lot of fun. All right, let me switch brands. Let's see here. Let's put a Hasegawa decal down. Go Navy. Let's put number 31 down here. Am I going to need that number later? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. I'm going to steal said 31. Try not to use my good decals for something, because I do want to do a reserve Corsair. Okay, same thing. These are 2002 20-year-old decals. Let's see how they do. Okay, question time again. Got to go now. Okay, see you later, Doug. Appreciate it. Art, Sense, and Water. Yeah, exactly. Jim Altergott. What do we got? Great course correction. YouTube had me thinking to use the most chemicals as I could the quickest time possible. Yeah, no, it's whatever. I mean, there will probably be a technique out on decals. You know, and this is from 20 years of doing these kind of things back and forth, and a lot of times the way the hobby tends to work with their Band-Aid solutions, like the varnishes and Future 4 polish and all that kind of stuff, it's because nobody's taught people the right way the first time. It's a little bit like carpentry, a little bit with making, you know, dove joints and how do you do that, and, you know, things of this nature. But what then you find is that when some people actually know, like for example, like if you watch a lot of the Japanese and Korean and Chinese, not so much the Chinese in terms of YouTube, but Korean, Chinese scale modelers, particularly Gunpla, and how they apply like tons of decals. You know, a lot of those Gunpla kits have a lot of decals and stuff like that, particularly the Verka kits with the stencils everywhere, and then how they do that. Like when you start to watch what they're doing with their decals and how they do it, you start to understand a lot of the Western practices of kind of the slather of everything on and then soak it in you know, varnishes and other stuff. It tends to be counterproductive, especially with surface detail. And you want thinness, you want refinement, you want 70-second scale level wear and tear, etc. You can always scale it up. It's not that big a deal. It's the 72s, small 48 scale stuff. You know, those are the hearts of the majority of kits. 32s aren't quite as difficult to deal with because they're kind of a bit bigger and stuff like that. But let's see what we get here. Again, this is a 20-year-old decal. Okay, it's not quite. The glue may be bad. We'll see. We're trying to be patient with that dude. Is that Ulfa cutter suitable with the saw blade? I think so, Nero. I think it's their general one. That's just a little chuck in there. If they fit in there, I'm sure they do. With MMP, why not seal the paint before applying decals? Just wondering in case, because, okay, so good question, Matt B, actually, because there's a lot of people that are still confused on this part. So with Mission in particular, the reason I'm having this conversation with you guys today and all this kind of stuff, because what I've been doing for the last few years that most people aren't really paying attention to in the aircraft world particularly, is what it can do for the patina, the wear and tear, the burnishing, the aircraft style versus the armor style and stuff like skin on frame, collated, you know, subject matter. So Mission, again, we'll spray later today. We can showcase this today. We should have time. Just a primered surface with the chrome paint to give you your aluminum, give you your metal underneath. I'm not doing the zinc chromates right now. It's fine. We did it on this. You know, we've done all the chipping and stuff on this guy with the yellow zinc and stuff like that and all that thing. But for now, just kind of what's going on. But then with just some water burnishing, a little bit of kind of rubbing, wear and tear, you get a whole bunch of stuff that happens with the paint that you can do. This is just a test piece, but you can do a lot of stuff with it. If you varnish that right now, it's all gone. just like the same here. So when you look at the side of that turret there, there's varnish in this section right here, and you can see on that green right there, there's no marks or nothing, like they're gone. And so what happens from that is if you varnish the whole thing, after you do all this, you've lost the heart of what it is you're trying to achieve. And that's what everybody forgets. By everybody, the collective hobby at large, don't understand that, because again, nobody's really ever talked about that too much. Like, how do you maintain the wear and tear in the paint as you work through the decaling process? Oftentimes I go to stencils, and that's how I'll lean most of the time, but as we'll be doing a lot more aircraft with RSP, you know, doing this kind of stuff is going to be important. But you're going to have a problem with, if you put your decals down first to get all this wear, if there's more stuff on this and there's more decals on this, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting your wear and tear, because what's going to happen is that's going to mask off that happy little section, and then you're going to have a patchwork look to your decals if you're into this kind of stuff. It's mostly a weathered conversation for sure, but you can still achieve it if you walk through the processes correctly. Oop, it's coming off. Okay, got sidetracked, but good question. It goes to why I don't varnish. Okay, come here. Okay, we got him. Okay, okie doke. Let's see if we can pull this guy off. Okay, I'm trying to get the water. I want that bubble off of there. Yeah, get most of the water off. That'll help the most. Okay, that's pretty much. Sorry for the camera. Yeah, it's kind of ready to go. Kind of thick. Hasegawa. So we'll use the Mr. Mark, or not Mr. Mark Fit Strong. Same thing. Get this cap out of the way, and then I use my little brush. And it's just a standard old. It's one of my older number 2s. Doesn't matter. Okay, this stuff is strong as this is a strong. Kind of, I'm looking at the shape of the decal and just gently putting some on. Okay. Okay, now I have to reposition. So now we get the challenge. Oh, come on. Move. That's why you got to get it right the first time. All right. Come on. That's what I get for fumbling it. And your project's ruined, right? Can we do it? Can we do it? Let's see. Come on. It went down hard. That glue just went down. Okay, come on. Come on, move, 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 move. I'm just trying to tear the film if I tear it. Come on, do it, do it, do it. All right, where? Come on, move. Yeah, it doesn't want to move. All right. Well, you get to see a crooked one. Yep. So that's a failure. I mean, it's not. No, it's not good. And you can kind of get away with that. It's not terrible. Okay, same thing though. Same process. Nail. So I got to nail it the first time. Okay, gotta go check my question in the stream. Yeah, just keep posting questions. So if I miss it, just say question again. Happy New Year from somebody. Keith, hello, Happy New Year. Yeah, this is the exhausting process, by the way. Sylvain, I don't know where your question's at, bro. Can you re-ask, Sylvain? Please ask again. Okay. Yep, okay. We're still pretty good, though. It's just slightly crooked, no big deal. We'll live with it. The wing is kind of, yeah. I'd be a little miffed, but it's all right. It is what it is. Okay, what do I need? I need some more of this. Okay. Same thing. So this is all an all-in-one solution. And I wasn't going to force it because I didn't have a second one. So if this did happen, okay, so say for example that happened, and again, just putting the solution right over the decal. You get a little bit of a scratch right there. What you can do, don't panic. If it does happen, it can't happen. Hopefully, for example, there was only that one size of that 31 left, so screw it. You're kind of pinched on that. You might need a second decal sheet if you need to, but see how that kind of starts to dry and puddle up. You can get it off best you can. Sometimes you just got to kind of get it off and rework it. You can always repaint. It's not a big deal. Like, I know that sounds like a pain in the ass. You know, it gets kind of hit and miss with how complicated it gets again, you know, like F4, you know, all that stuff. But, I mean, F4s, you know, a lot of stuff goes into more of a satiny kind of a thing. You know, F18s, F-Tomcats could be a little bit of thing. So it depends on kind of how you're going to play it. Am I saying this is a perfect way to do it? No, I'm just saying it's possible. You understand that too, by the way. So you will have it is a little bit more of a high risk because it is a delicate matte surface underneath. But my prioritizing the wear and tear, I'm prioritizing the weathering, the patina. That's where my priority is at. Okay. And that scratch was because I try to move it. But that would be kind of the thing, is you really want to really try to nail that. You got to nail it. Okay. Did I miss your question, Sylvain? I know I did, but did you ask it again? Okay, I'm scrolling back up because nobody's. Let's see. Decals get wet. Okay, I think we got that one. Hello, Jonathan Phillips. I'm just reading chat. Hold on. Okay, we answered Matt B's question. I use John's Decal Model Paint Solutions. I apply over satin coat. Okay, cool. Yeah, do it however you like, man. Don't worry about it. Greg missed. There's no poly in the paint. There's no poly in the paint, Greg. I would tell you if there's poly in the paint. Number one, I don't leave anything out, guys. So by the way, I know you guys ask this a lot. If I put poly in the paint, I would say that, and I've said this is matte paint. So understand that. I mean, I don't mean to be rude. It's just I would tell you, so you would know. I would say, hey, this is paint with poly in it. You know, I would tell you that. So just be, you know, it's primer, it's chrome, mission chrome, and then olive drab on top, and then a decal on top of that. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And then we're gonna do a little spot spray or matte on top of that. So, yes, it's there. Sylvain, can you just ask? Oh no, you don't use water because of MM. Okay, but if you put a small bubble puddle in decal, will it move? You maybe. What's risky? You can already see it happening, Sylvain. It will kind of scuff the paint as a knife. Put that knife in there to get that thing snug down, like boom. It didn't want to slide, and that's a 20-year-old decal, which is mostly probably why. The glue's probably a little sketch, so you just have to be a little bit careful with that. Again, I probably wouldn't have done it for like something like this. Honestly, I just stencil it, to be truthful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so just so you know, guys, I don't ever not tell you something and then do it and then like skip a step to not tell you. Like I will say, hey, this is mission with poly. That's what it does. So just so you know. Just I want to be open with that. Yep, and here's this dude. And you can mix solutions. I've done that too, where I put other solutions on top. It doesn't really matter. But again, you want to stay right within the decal. And I'm just looking at the light refracting off the gloss so I don't get too much outside of it. Just going over the edges real gentle, and I'm like a feather. I'm like barely touching that. Yeah, so I will pick and choose my battles too, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna just decal stuff to decal stuff. It depends on what it is and how it is. Things like the 31 or like a German cross, I'm gonna stencil, or, you know, Japanese markings and stuff like that. I'd stencil too as well. Life's too short to sweat decals all the time. Yeah, then do it. Stencils are best. Yeah. I spray as much as I can. That's usually my go-to. But at the same time, you can see though that Mr. Mark Fit strong. This stuff here, no problemo. So in terms of all of, in terms of silvering, in terms of bad decals and all that kind of stuff, that's what you're not seeing. Now, I missed my mark there. That's a me problem. That's not it's not silvering or it's not failing or anything like that. So again, I'm using the light to kind of see that's too much. You don't want to, and don't flood it too. Be gentle, control precision, just enough to cover. and then it'll dry pretty quick. You'll see it evaporate pretty fast. Just kind of spread it around so it doesn't puddle or pool. And I got a little bit of a wrinkle. What I'll do is I'll let this dry one more time, and then I'll roll it out one more time to get that wrinkle out. You see that wrinkle on the 3 right here? I can roll that out here in a second. So just let that kick off, and then you can roll that back out. And honestly, the way the weathering is on this, those little scuffs and scratches are no big deal either. And this is, this is a no big deal problem. It could be a little bit more concerning with some more specific stuff, but that's how that goes. Okay, all right. Let's switch gears. Let that sit up for a little bit. So that's the application process. That's the 3 different brands that I use. It pretty much covers the solution brands. Get that out of the way. This guy over here. Okay, let me do this real quick because I brought it up. I'm going to show you what we're talking about. This should work. I hope it works. Okay, so this is the Aviattic. Let's do this guy. Hold on one second. So I'm going to use these Aviattic decals for like a fabric texture conversation, like seats and stuff like that. See you later, Matt. Thanks for coming in, bud. Okay, so I have these old Jeep seats from the Jeep spraying things that I've done. There's like a little, like a seat cushion in there. So let's see here. I need something relatively close. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I should have read the Aviattic. The Aviattic decals are a little bit unique in the decal world. I don't know how long it's supposed to soak. I forget. Sometimes they go fast. Some of these might go fast. Let me see if that'll. So this is primer. So we're off the matte paint conversation for a second. This is a textural canvas, tarp, seats kind of conversation with an Aviattic texture decal. So slightly different direction. But this is just a straight up primer, so the water's not going to hurt or anything like that. So you can be a little bit more aggressive if you want it to be. It's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, you're welcome. See you later. Okay, what else do we got? Okay. All right, is it coming? Okay, yeah, it comes off pretty good. Okay, so you can see there, this is what I'm talking about. So with the Aviattic stuff, so it's transparent, but it's got the green ink in it. And so you want to put it over, let's see here, same thing. Oops, I want some solution. I'm going to go Jimmy Jam Mark Fit Strong. And I can use a brush here, it's no big deal, because it's not as delicate. And kind of put that underneath, get that kind of nice, kind of wet coverage. Not soaking wet, but you've got a good amount on there. So the decal's bigger than I need it to be. I could have been a little bit better with that, but get this down. Okay, it'll start to snug itself down. You can see it's kind of going over. We'll cut all this off later because you're going to want to cut that around, but you need it fully dry for a cut. So just work it in for now. Where's my other? Okay. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to press him in for now. Yeah, that actually, okay, I think that'd work nicely. We were kind of talking about it. Well, I was kind of discussing with Aviattic about this concept of you have these cool linen fabric textural decals with, and you see it up with the eyeball, you'll see it with the camera. You'll see like the weave of the ink in this stuff. You can see it on the sheet pretty clearly, a little bit clearer. And they recommend like a white base, but you can see, let's see if you can see there's like a weave in there, right? Like a textural weave, like a textile. So it's applicable to a canvas, to a tarp, to stuff like that nature, stowage and stuff like that. Once we do the whole decal thing, we'll do the matte same as before, and so it'll turn it into a textile. But you get that solution underneath. Same thing, kind of roll it in. Take this stuff here. And these decals are well made, all that good stuff. They can hold up to this pretty good. That's pretty aggressive, if I do say so myself. It's fairly aggressive. And I'm kind of just making sure it's all over the cushion edge. There's a metal frame around that. It's a seat of a Jeep. And then just like that, you're gonna wanna let it dry. You're gonna wanna repeat that process a few times until that's really, really hyper snug down. You know, give it a chance to do its thing. And you can see here that it starts to dry pretty quick. You can see the solution setting up. And so I continue to brush this and even this out so I don't have any weird spots or anything too as it dries. You know, you can unload that. And again, that's over a primer, so it's, you know, this is pretty easy to do. There's no stress on this one. There's stress on the painted stuff that's been worn out for sure. I understand that. And so it's going to be a little bit of hit miss and all that kind of conversation. So realistically, you know, you're gonna have a little bit of a higher risk with that system. However, if you don't like that, then throw the poly in it or throw a varnish down. Honestly, I don't really care, but the reason I'm trying to do this is to show you, like, if you're really pushing for a higher level of finish and weathering to achieve certain looks, you're gonna have to skip a varnish out of there. And so how do you do that is kind of what that lesson's about, more than always do your decals this way. If you know what I mean, don't fight the battles you can win, if that makes more sense to you guys. You know, take it on if you want to. You don't have to. It's not a must with that one. This is pretty cool though. So I'm just kind of working that I'm sorry, I keep saying that, the Mark Fit Strong into this. And what I'll do is I would do that over, say, a couple of days, and then I'd come back in with a real sharp knife and I would trim that out real nicely, because once you paint that and chip the frame, or you can do that over, you know, you can paint around it, etc. Like whatever you got to do, like that whole thing. Let's do that guy over here, and then this guy here. Let's do a red one. So I've got kind of this, do like a red bench seat or something like that. And the thing about the Aviattic stuff is it's very high quality and it goes pretty quick. Like, you don't have to let it soak too long or anything like that. Okay, and I've got some other seat cushions there. But I did want to showcase that. I've been wanting to showcase that for a little while because it's a pretty cool little secondary idea. Let me cut a piece off. It's probably too big, but oh well. So we'll do a red cloth bench seat kind of thing. You're welcome, Northern. Hello, Zal. How are you, bud? Caught the stream. Thanks for the previous lag. Yeah, exactly. Question: you mentioned once before using a cotton rag to burnish the area with the decal going to go. You still doing this or not? Hold on. Using a cotton rag to burnish the area where the decal. Yeah. So what I did, Sylvain, in that context was it's a little bit hard to see. So what you have here is you have the painted surface chipped and weathered and worn a little bit. You have the decal applied on top, and then you have a spot of the matte varnish on top of that. And then you come back in and I burnished some of this to bring out some of the burnishing. And I used cotton swab, but it's the same concept. You know, you can come in and burnish this some more if you want. Now you're not going to see it too much because it doesn't reflect too highly, but yeah, you can keep burnishing all this stuff. It's not really. Yeah, kind of. It's not the most reflective. Can I get any like that? UltraMatte is UltraMatte sometimes. Yeah. But I would weather that up anyway. It's okay too. So that's a non-matte there. We'll matte varnish it. So what I'm trying to do is get all this on. Oop, that's already coming off. Hold on one sec. Oh, that goes fast. I forgot. Pay attention. Not paying attention. Okay. Get that guy. Oops, come here. It's gonna look good. So if you had like a truck, a civilian truck or something, you know, and they have a whole bunch of colors, purples, yellows, blues, greens, olive drabs, tans, a whole bunch of different colors that they do this stuff in. And I'll put the link to their website and stuff in the new stream description. Same thing there, get that guy down. We'll do the same thing here. Get that guy on top. So really, one of the big tricks to all decaling in general, truth be told, is the solution going underneath is really a critical step that prevents all the silvering most of the time. And then the water. Because even if you've got other paints, what you can face is, what did I drop? Oh, and they do make a clear, dope linen. You can barely see there's some texture in that as well. So you can do some other stuff with some of their other, you can just see the texture in that, kind of a clear dope linen stuff. They do a lot of really, really nice different decal stuff. But the colored texture fabric thing is something I'm gonna probably work with. You know, this is a great way to do a seat per se, and you can weather it up after the fact. Again, you can kind of see, get that spread, do its thing. You wanna really get that in there. Oops. This is the old GAAHLERI 67B. Yeah, get that to drape down really good. And when you're up kind of on, when your eyeballs are up close, you can just see the little bit of the texture in that. And when you matte coat that back out, it should look like a really nice, like a fabric, like a bench seat fabric, which is pretty nice. And you can kind of take it from there. Just put a little more on this guy. Yeah, you can be a little bit aggressive with that. Okay, all right, so switching over to, I'm gonna take a nature break real quick. So wait, we don't have to try and paint fabric texture and space marine. Yeah, you'll have to buy a bit of this, Brian, if it's something you're really interested in, because you know, these are big A4 sheets, so there's a lot here. I mean, you have a lot of material to work with if you have, if you're interested in stuff like this. But if you have a cape, you know, again, anything textile like that would be perfect. You can see that they do lozenges for World War I aircraft and stuff like this, but I have some colors here. Let's see. So you've got a bunch of different, these are, sorry for the zoom here, I can probably zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so you've got big sheets like this, you got like bright greens, you got olive drabs, yellows, you have some different colors, and they have a nice range of colors. There's some baby blues and some royal blues and some other colors too. So probably stuff you can get away with, Brian. And I'll put the link up later for you. You know, I didn't think about capes, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like even for fantasy figures, any kind of cape, you know, superhero cape, wizardry cape, you know, elf stuff, whatever. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of potential for it. It's kind of up to you and your creativity, like what you want to do with these, but the trick to this is just having a nice solid colored, like a light color, because of the ink. So I did some tests over different colors to see how this looks, but really it doesn't work too well. So really with the Aviattic stuff, because of the transparency, you want almost a white or a beige or really, really, really light tone. You know, some of the yellows, you can play with some yellows underneath if you wanted to. You can get kind of creative with it. There's no right or wrong. There's a lot of potential and opportunity for this kind of stuff. But for, you know, stowage tarps, bed rolls, also because they have a lot of this nice olive drab color, could also be another way to do that, you know, versus pure painting. So it's another little option coming up. Pretty excited about. You know, civilian stuff, you have some cool colors if you want to do, you know, kind of the interior truck bench seats and stuff like that. A lot of options for that. But those, again, decals, all of this, it needs to dry and go through its process. I tend to do it overnight for a while for this kind of stuff. But we'll spray a matte over this and we'll show you how to do that now. And then we'll get into painting. So we're on schedule. But I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm back. All right, long day already. Killing me, Smalls. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's do this. I think what I'll do is we'll work backwards. I'll varnish first and break down the airbrush, and then we'll pull out the Mobius airbrush and we'll break that down and we'll go back and forth. Mike, does burnishing work with other paints here? Yeah, it does a little bit. Not as nicely, but it does. It can work. Most matte paints will burnish up, James. Where can you find the fabric details? Tell us more. I'll leave you the link in the description. It's aviattic.com. I'll leave you a link in that later on. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Red Beach. You could probably roll the texture decal over the edges of the seat and give it appearance of upholstery. Yep, you could totally tough it. You could do all sorts of stuff, Robert. These are just metal frame Jeep seats, so there's like that metal tubing on the side where the cushion's kind of sitting in the middle. So the frame ends right there on the edge of that, and I'll trim that up later. Not today, but I'll do it another time. Someone entertained us in intermission. I'm back already. Box. He's just like, I'm pissed off. Yeah, right. What's the brand again? Aviattic. It's these guys. Oops, did I put it away? I did. My bad. Aviattic.com. I think. Again, I'll put the link. Ooh, get these out of here. I don't know why I put them. Yeah, I'll give you guys links with the dead feed. I have to redo all the links. I'll do the whole thing later. I'll fix all the text in the description after the show, so don't worry about that. I'll get that all handled for you guys. I promise that. That's no big deal. Okay. So that's out of the way. All right, this stuff here. So let's do a little spot spraying, show you what we're talking about. Just this stuff here. It's a water-based thing. You can use whatever matte varnish you want. No matter to me. We can do this one too. See what it looks like. I don't need the 68 today, I don't think. Do I do that? I don't really want to. I'm just gonna have problems later on. Hasaki Art, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay, it's my varnish airbrush. Put my thingy on there. It's my Iwata HPC. It's an older one. I'm gonna run this through this. I want to keep these pure mission, so I'm not gonna use this. But we'll get into mission painting here in a second with the gallery stuff. Did you sell your Iwatas and harder steam packs? Did I sell them? No, they're still here. I don't have any harder steam packs. No, I still have all my airbrushes. There's no reason to sell them. Not worth anything. Not in this day and age. Okay. Mr. Varnish. Hope this works. Okay. I'm just going to be beast mode. I just need a little bit. So. Okay, so this is, as you can see there, that's what happens. You start losing chrome. That's why it's down the varnish airbrush. I don't need much. And just a drop or two of their thinner. Just keeping it in the family. Little mix. You can do a little backflow mix if you want. Ooh, there you go. Okay. You got eyeballs on. You want to be kind of precise with this. What else? Did I miss anybody else? Everybody good? Thank you, Bruce. Okay, so we have said decal, etc. Let me go up here. A little zoom. Get the zoom up here. There we go. Okay, so you have that. And you should be holding it like this. You should have it all, whatever, protected. It is kind of cold. The heat will help. You can see it's kind of cold. And you can see the cloudiness of the matte around there. And this one too, this one's a little bit. Try to use the camera's kind of in my way for this, but I'm trying to use the glare to see what I'm doing. Back and forth. Probably 2-3 layers or so. Try to keep it as thin as possible. So that's just one kind of coat over that. You can see it already killed the get down into the focal range. You can see the clouding. That's about how much. You don't really want to go too much more than that if you can avoid it. And you can see that that's bone matte. That just took that whole decal down, and it's killed most of the lip. In fact, I'm having trouble seeing the edge of the decal, which is what you want. Again, these are the super thick Tommy decals, so there's a little bit here, so we got to do a little bit more. I can't really see. And I'm just filling in the edges, really. I'm just trying to level those edges off. You can see I probably could have used more solution on that. You see the thickness there a little bit. This one came down good because this one has about 20 to 30 coats of solution on that. So it really snugged those decals down to where it looks painted on. Yeah, you can't really see too much. There's a little chip in the paint from before that was there before. I don't know what that is there. I'll probably deal with it later. Okay. But just like all the rest of this, you really do need to let it dry and do its thing. You don't want to be hustling this stuff. Oops, let's pull it up a little bit. Get a little happy. Clear liquids are hard to see, so it is a little bit tricky. And it is cold too. It will affect it a little bit. Yeah, and there's a little cast number under that. It's giving a little bit of a light catcher right there. And I'm getting I still see just a smidge of the edge around the roundel on the outside there. This one looks good. I don't really see too much. You can maybe do another little pass or two. So this is why decals really do require a lot of patience. You can just, I don't know if the light will catch it. There's just an edge still present there. And what I'm trying not to do is flood the surface with matte varnish too much, because you want to keep that as thin as you possibly can for the quality of the finish purpose. Yeah, so and this one here, let's see. Okay, we'll just use it for a test. I think it's probably too soon. Let me just do a quick heat thing on this guy, just to show you. Yeah, that chrome is stripped because of lacquer thinner. That's what all that was. Let's see here. This one was probably a little bit too early, but I just want to show you kind of what I'm talking about. it's just kind of one layer. I probably would put another 20 coats of what Jimmy Jam on that. And you can see how it starts to kill the matte varnish. Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. See how it kind of kills all the effects that you get? So you have to kind of rework that in. You can also, if you wanted to, you know, if you're really getting slick with this stuff, is you can kind of put the decal down and you can start to kind of, some things I recommend is you could take a, you know, a little bit of this and you can just put a spot spray of fresh paint over that and do some more stuff. It's not a one and done. It's kind of the other end of it. We won't get to it today in terms of this kind of process. You're going to have to keep working this for sure to get your final result. But you can see it did a pretty good job of just a quick. So again, I did not do enough of the solution to really sink it down in there perfectly, but I just wanted to show you how it at least kind of works in terms of all that. And it's starting to basically disappear around the film, like around the M and stuff like that. So it's starting to work pretty good. Okay. This guy, it's not bad. It's too soon. You probably want to wait overnight again, but we'll just showcase it. So patience is also part of the thing with decals. Give yourself time. In other words, like don't do this the day before the contest if you're in that mode or publication or whatever. You know, definitely give yourself some time. And this one's out of register, which would really suck balls. You wouldn't use it. This is basically like the P61 wing and stuff like that. So you see the matte varnish gives you kind of that cloudy effect, and see how it does alter the color a little bit. So, but usually what happens is you're doing this before all the weathering really starts, so you can tweak and tune all that. It's the same thing that I had that you have to do kind of like around here. Same idea. Coming in here and you start to really work in the weathering as you go. So that'll kind of be like the secondary step of this, because there is a little bit of distortion in the colors from the matte. But again, if you matte this whole thing over, you're going to lose all your variation. So I'm prioritizing this, and that's why I'm doing this. That's not bad. I mean, I would do more, but it's definitely decent. Okay, this guy. How bad is this dude? Right, again, too soon, but whatever. Let's see if I can work it into kind of this weird anomaly of stuff going on here. No, I didn't get that wrinkle out of there, but it almost sucked itself down. Working in a little bit, kind of model it a little bit, see if it'll do some stuff. It's working pretty good. Get a little more aggressive. So I'm real gentle with the matte varnish. You know, I'm being real sensitive and taking my time. I'm not overdoing it. Yeah, you can see that really changed the color quite a bit. But that's okay, you can still work a lot of that in there. You can still work around that with the oils. There's a little bit of, I didn't get the solution down in there enough. I could have done another 10 different layers with that. But I'm just kind of hustling too to kind of showcase that. But that's why the whole varnish conversation, you can see it starts to really work in, you know, before and after and what you're trying to do. Kind of help dilute it a little bit. Now on this guy, we do the same thing here. I haven't really done this one yet. This guy was a beast, really thick decal. So I'm going to kind of flood that surface a little bit more. In there. You get this a little bit wet, but that's okay. So again, the trick is patience. Really taking your time with the solutions to get that thing to dissolve out of there so you don't get the lip or the edge of the decal to show. That's kind of, you can see what the matte does to that. Okay, so if we go back to this dude here, that's probably been on there long enough. All right. Almost bone dry brush. You can see that. Okay. Kind of tying the matte surface in a little bit. This will kind of help too. This will kind of kill that cloudiness, even though you might wipe up a little bit aggressive. What I'm trying to do is just kind of blend in the surrounding matte overspray a little bit, so it's not quite so specific and cloudy. And you can see it does wipe. It did wipe. The AK stuff is a little delicate if you rush it. You do need to kind of give it a little bit of time because it is a water-based matte. But if that's the case, there, now we just do this. Trying to cover some of those lips or some of those edges of the decal a little bit. Yeah, the light does catch it a little bit. Okay. The heat from the hairdryer works pretty well too. And so for this dude, stuff like this too, you can also start doing these things. Oh, that's wet. Dumb shit. And chip some paint. It's okay, it looks good. Take a dry one. Let's take a dry one and do that. Again, this is all a little bit too fast. I'm doing this for streaming. You know, it's a little bit too soon. So do give yourself a little bit more time. This kind of burnishes it out a little bit, kind of help it out, kind of blend it in a little bit more. And then you can jump right into the weathering, whatever you're doing, to kind of tie that all together. And that actually doesn't look half bad, like in terms of a really worn out section. And I'm pushing this way fast. Come here, dude. Okay, so I'm just trying to re-burnish in a little bit. And then what I'll do from this point in time is, like I said, I've got a little bit of patina. The F on, dude. Okay. So anyway, it's one of those days, man. What is? So I'm looking at the light to kind of see where the matte is on the paint, and I'm just kind of slowly burnishing in. But again, it's a little bit early in the process, because you really want to let that set up and soak in a little bit, or cure and kick off. So you get by now. And then what we can do is after that is I'll come back in with the oils and stuff and I'll work that all around, and so it's all weathered in, and by the time it's all done, it'll all be worked in, you won't even know. Same thing with aircraft, you do the same thing. You get all your weathering done on top, and that's kind of how that goes. Okay, so this dude here, let me just get this out of here. Then we'll swap airbrushes. Let's do some airbrushing. Let's move it along. I missed everybody's question the last few minutes. Let's see, what is this? What is this? A turd of a tank. Centurion patty cakes. Too much coffee like me. When you get down to my age, you want time to slow down. Time flies, holy smokes. Hello, Patty. Hello, patty cakes, by the way. And Zal, we saw you. We see you. Okay, cool. All right, let me get this guy off. Hold on one sec. Just so that doesn't dry there too bad and I don't ruin it too bad. Gotta run. See you later, Travis. Thank you, bud. Okay, airbrush out of the way. All right, GAAHLERI. GAAHLERI, what are we painting? Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's look at this. Yep, looks pretty good. Okay. And then the decal solution stuff also is kind of a final wrap on that. Is you can keep coming back over and over and over again with your solutions over time. You can do it days and weeks later. So if you have a long-term project and you really want that to come down, I could have even done a little bit more to get that ledge. There's just a smidge left, but you can still put a little bit and keep working that a little bit if you wanted to. Let's see how this guy looked. That was just kind of a one in, and that's not too bad. That came out fairly decently. Not too terrible. Okay, let's see here. Just again, that's not too bad either. There's some silver in, but again, I didn't only put like a couple bits of solution. I probably would do that for 3, 4, 5 days, you know, let that really work in really nicely and done. Take your time. That's really kind of the key element here. Take your time. And then we can in the future do a weather decal conversation too. We can do another one later. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys out. Okay, get these guys out of the way. We're running a little bit behind schedule, but we're not too bad now. Okay, so there's this. Let's get all this stuff out of the way because I don't want to overspray on this. Put you back up here. Put you back there. Okay, let's get out of the way. I'll just do fuselage. I don't have enough time to do the rest of this. Not that we're going to, but it'll serve its thing. So this is another piece on Patreon. This is a black weathering demo that I did recently. Trumpeter H-34 helicopter. Surface prep, I'll do it on the Hobby Boss kit here. I'll walk you through. It's a primer, just a gray primer. Actually a little bit of like pinkish gray primer, and then some Mission Models Chrome, which is the highlight there, and then some black. And then I did some weathering with OPR on top of that kind of thing. This was a demo purpose thing, but that's what we'll be doing here, but we'll do it in more specific. I have enough of my German RAL colors or RLM colors out. Yeah, most of my RLM colors out from Mission, so you guys can kind of, I haven't looked at an ME109 for a minute, so you'll have to excuse that whole scenario. But what I'm gonna do here is, so this is Hobby Boss Easy Assembly doohickey. Where's my stuff? I moved everything. But what I want is, I want this dude off, but I don't want it off the sprue because I want to hold it. Okay, this. I want this guy, and I want this guy. Okay. So I can at least hold and paint easily. I don't care about these other things. Just, this is a sacrificial lamb kit. This is just pure testing. We'll just use it mostly for the wings and fuselage over time. Okay. Let's see here. First up though, hold on, let me get my brain on. Let's take this dude here. So what am I gonna prime with? Okay, hold on. I have to get my shit straight here, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, so I want a base coat with a Mobius 3. I'm going to prime with the 39, the older one, and then I don't need the 98. And then we'll do some fine camo with the 2. And this one's got the MAC valve in it too, by the way, if you don't know that. So you just go and do like, yeah. Okay, I don't care about accuracy, dude. I'm not super concerned about that right now. It's not a problem. Okay, primer. White. Oh, here it is. Duh. Okay. So primer for the surface. We'll use the 39 for the primer, and then we'll swap to the Mobius for that. And what I'll do is I'll use this first, and then when I clean it, I'll break it down, and then we'll open up the Mobius, and I'll show you the differences in about 10-15 minutes between the 2 airbrushes and the new stuff. Dude, just I love it. All right, how's football going? How are the scores? How are the playoffs going? My Steelers are in. Okay. Alrighty, taking 800. Better be my 800. Yeah, okay. Trumpeter Hobby Boss, Notorious, kind of a pebbly conversation a little bit. Now you're just pretending it's assembled, don't worry about it. I need a little bit around the cockpit. Alrighty. This is the extent of how much surface prep I do. There you go. Alright, it's sanded, wiped, ready to go. Okay, 39 Mobius 2, you're out of the way. Mobius 3, I don't need you yet. Put you over here. Okay, but I do need this guy. Seahawks are done for the year. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Yeah, it did not look like they had their shit together with. Did they lose to Arizona? Are we? Yeah, we're probably past that. Browns fans. Yeah, you are looking good, patty cakes. You guys just basically took the day off, which means you know you're in good spot. So I guess the big game tonight left would be Bills Fins, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put some primer down. Let's see here. You know what I'm gonna do, just so you can see a little bit easier. I'll use the tan primer today. Just gives you a little bit difference between the chrome. So patty cakes, this while this is aircraft, it is also skin on frame, so this will be completely relevant to Gunpla, by the way, just so you know. Okay. So like I said, we'll spray the primer first, get this out of the way. Okay, Greg Mix, listen up. Wherever you're at, listen, tune in, because I know you come and go, Greg Mix. Okay, so primer mixing, that's the mission. Primer tan, it should look smooth and creamy just like that. A little bit of thinner. Let me get another brush just in case, because I got decal solution all over that. In fact, let me put this dude out of the way so I don't grab him by accident. Okay. The tan primer tends to be a little bit thicker than the rest, so you can see it's kind of a creamy mix there. We'll get kind of a, that's not too bad. Just a smidge more of said thinner. I don't make much, I don't need much. You know, I'm just kind of doing a fuselage head. I don't need to overdo it. I just want a simple tan primer. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. See the runoff, guys? That's what I'm doing. And it's just a guess on quantity. I'd guess maybe 30% thinner, maybe more. Depending. I go cold, when the cold climate's like this, I am kind of like, boop. Yeah, a little bit. You can get just a little bit more. Again, also the tan is thicker in the bottle. Okay. Get this guy ready. Hook up the air hose. Set air. Question, Mike, can you justify the existence of the clear primer? Yeah, no worries. Clear primer is genius. But you've probably forgotten, and I don't have anything in front of me, but it's all for the colored plastic, or at least that's what it. So if you have a pre-painted die-cast train or a toy or a colored plastic model that comes in the mecha world, you know, remember the Mechatros, Jim? All that stuff. The clear primer goes over that, and then you can OPR and do some other stuff while using the color as your paint color. So you're pulling the paint out with the clear primer. That's the best use of it, I think. In terms, I mean, it's still just a clear primer, but it would be no advantage here for this. A little bit more room. There we go. A little bit more on camera. Harvard BG. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Get this guy out of the way. This guy better be working today. And it's not working today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for clogging when I can't remember here. All right, so we're gonna prime with, where's my 98? No. All right, just technical difficulties up the wazoo. Do you ever use water thinner primer? Just, no, you can't use the water thinner primer, dude. The primer's catalyzed. It has to be thin with thing to catalyze, otherwise it won't cure as a primer. Oops, don't do this. I used all these airbrushes recently, so the 39 wasn't that clean. That's on me. That's my bad. Okay, you have to make some more. Well, you get to see me make some more. Okay, same thing. Pour some primer in there. A bit thinner. Yeah, one of those days, boys. I'm sorry. I don't like to be like this, to be honest with you. Technical difficulties, just kind of whatevs. Okay, there we go. Even though everything at least is going pretty well, other than that 31, I missed the mark on that one. Thank you. Just like work, please. Okay. Okie doke. Back to the show. Primer. I'm just going to do kind of the back half of the fuselage. First coat kind of hits kind of thin and wet. Up my pressure a little bit. I'm hustling, I'm moving pretty quick. Time is of the essence. We don't have, it's a nice color. Pull out said hairdryer. Yes, it does. Clear primer is a primer. So hold on, I'll talk about it in a sec. You really want to use the heat with Mission Primer. It actually really helps a lot. See how beautiful that is. So I know it comes up a lot about all this stuff. The primers, Mission primers lay down fairly satin. You can probably buff that out if you really wanted to. So the clear primer is a primer. It's catalyzed primer. It's not a satin, it's not a varnish, it's not a transparent. They have some transparent mediums, they have some other stuff. They do some cool things. But the clear primer, in my opinion, that one of the better things for it is to use it over colored material. So if you, like I said, if you had a die cast piece that's already painted, you know, all the colored mecha kits, everything, you can use that as your color of the model and primer it. And if you remember, thousands of streams on all that way back when with the Mechatro stuff in particular, and then some of the early railroad stuff also. All the war bonnet stuff is clear primered, most of it. I would say I did a little bit of painting. And you can write to OPR and stuff like that. No, you're fine, Jim. I'm just giving you a bad time. Let's see what else. Yeah, and don't use water to thin the primer. No, this is dude, you guys are killing me, Smalls. No, this is the tan primer. There was just a question about the clear primer. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even have it out. I don't know where my clear is. No, this is tan primer, guys. They're asking about the clear primer, what it's for, and I'm just answering the question on this on the side note. So, no, this is Mission Tan primer, and you can see, dude. That I mean, let's get a good shot of that guy. Thank God the lag is gone too. That really annoyed. It's not too bad. Yeah. Hobby Boss with the rivets. Rivet happy company. You can do another coat if you wanted to. Just a little bit down here. And a primer pretty quick. I move the airbrush pretty fast. I'm kind of I'm in a hurry, so I'm kind of blasting. But I do get a nice even coat that way. Okay. Voila. Let's see if you can see. You can see it. There's the. Come on, light. Where were you? There you go. That's kind of. You can see over here kind of how wet it is when you spray it. It should hit kind of wet like that. The heat coat, that first thin layer, you heat that up. That really does bind it nicely. Sponsored by Conair. Someday, somewhere. Okay, let me clean the airbrush. We'll strip it down. Okay, let's talk 39, 68, 98 into the Mobius series. Let that sit for a second, and then we'll spray some other stuff. Oh, all right, here we go. Okay, let's get this guy out of here. So with primer and an airbrush, any brand, just get it out of there. Don't linger. Don't hesitate. It's just water, flushing out the bulk of it with water. Trying to get this out of here. Just trying to clean flush, getting the bulk out of here. This saves on the thinner. That's all I'm doing, is just using water to get the bulk of the product out. That's all I'm doing. This guy out of the way. Because Lord knows the way I'm being clumsy today, I'll probably spill right on top of that. Okay, a couple drops of thinner. Finger over the tip, gently. Back flush. Okay, get that out. Okay, wipe again. Cotton swabs are your friend. You can see the primer's already drying in the cup. This is the 98, so the polish on the inside is a little bit easier to clean. You got a little bit on the outside too. I tend to have a primer airbrush most of the time, like, because it just ends up being a mess. Usually the 39 is a primer airbrush for me, because it's 30 bucks now, whatever they drop the price. Threw out a Sandlock joke. Yeah, we've been saying Killing Me Smalls for a while, haven't we? Some of us older dudes, right? Okay, so let's break this bad boy down, and then pull all the pieces out, and then we'll show you the Mobius. Okay, back handle here. Pull the needle out. See, the needle's a little bit dirty. Wipe it nice and clean. So the 98 also has a little bit higher polished chrome needle compared to the 39 and the 68, by the way, too. It's a little bit higher quality needle. Just in case you're wondering, you get two. You get a 3.5 and a 5, right? Something like that. You guys have to cross-check it. One's a 3.8, one's a 3.5, and one of the, I don't know, they mix it up. Hasaki are, yes. Hold on. That's gonna annoy me. I don't want to ruin my beautiful coaster. Yeah, I use a hairdryer, especially in the wintertime when it's cold. You want to really. Well, let's do that. Okay. So get this guy off of here. Get this guy off of here. So it's not fully clean yet, but we'll do a little bit more cleaning. Get this guy off of here. Okay, let's get. We'll break it all the way down. We'll spend some time here because I don't think anybody's really done this yet. First time painting with a GAAHLERI 39 today, coach. Okay, felt really nice. Feels like, well, yeah, I saw your stuff, Josh. You were funny with that. I forgot to admit how I miss seeing Mike getting aggravated at chat. My patience for all this patty cakes, because it's just everything went wrong today already. Like I've been just not happy with the whole deal. I don't like when you get the lag, like you can't, like when you can't fix things. That's annoying when you're, you know, the world is watching. All that. Okay, let me get some stuff out of here. I don't need the hose right now either. Okay. Yeah, nobody likes technical difficulties with the connection. When the connection's bad, then everybody, you know, the stream's bad, all that good stuff. So that really put me off. The MMP primer can be mixed with their black. Yep, you can mix all the stuff. You can put the paint in the primers too, by the way. That's fine too. You can color your primers with. I do it all the time. You guys see that in the Churchill videos? Okay, so hold on. I'm just kind of getting a general cleaning on the 98, the 98 and 39 and 68. The front of the, oops, my bad. Kind of the bulk parts of the 68 are all relatively the same. This one obviously has a different trigger mechanism, but we're not concerned about that guy today. And I have a swallowtail, but we'll have to just do another stream for the swallowtail from GAAHLERI. I apologize. This isn't going smoothly. It's not going swimmingly. Let's get this dude out of here. Okay, so the first big difference is the nozzle. Just trying to get this there it goes. Okay, nice. Okay, get this guy out, set him aside. Let me do a quick little wipe, because I don't really like primer in my 98, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Just using water. Just trying to get a general clean of this. Okay, I'm going to leave these two the same, closed up. They're the same on all the airbrushes. There's two parts to that. It's all the same. Okay. Get this guy off here too. All right, so let's do Mr. Mobius 3. Okay, got this guy. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, doke. So real quick, a lot of people don't like these. These have been around forever, so I don't know why like all of a sudden the anger and hate towards this is. Kind of the plunger style trigger. It's kind of floppy little dude that goes in the shaft hole there that pushes the air valve right here. Goes down through that hole. So that's one of the things to be aware of. The 98 has the lever attached to the airbrush needle holder, so that's nice. People like that. Again, it's been around forever. No big deal. You have the spring. Spring goes over here, and then you have your locking collar here that goes in over this, and that goes into the rear shaft here. And then you have your locking clamp nut for the back. Okay. Pull this guy over here. So this is your Mobius. This is your new GAAHLERI airbrush line. So again, I'll break it down backwards here. Let's do the first part here. We'll get the back. So it's a split system. So you have the back retainer handle part here with the adjustment knob. So you can see here the differences are different style machining on the shaft collar do thing here, and then just a different knurling on the knob, just a different design of the knob is what you see here between the old and new. And this is pretty common in airbrush. This is relatively new. They've done kind of this spiral design to it. I think it just, trying to be a little bit more stylish, if you will. The chrome seems a little bit more chromy, by the way, too. Okay. All right, so this dude here, you can see it's got different colors. The parts are basically the same. They're just different colors, different kind of aesthetic, if you will. And then the nozzle's really the bigger difference, and the trigger's a big difference here. So we'll break this down. Yeah, I think we can do the whole thing here. Let's get this locking nut off first. And I'll show you the difference between these guys. So slight different design change here. Okay, so on the right, the aluminum one or the metal one, non-brass color one, traditional design for all your locking nuts for most airbrushes, and it's a little bit of a, to feed that in, I always recommend leaning the tip like this, a little bit overhang, and then you'll kind of just roll that into the hole, and then you'll spin that through. This one here is a little bit wider, more forgiving, although I would not recommend just jamming this in here. You still do the same thing. Rest your finger on the base of that, roll that in there, and feed it through. It's a little bit easier to get into this particular, so you can see it's a little bit bigger, easier. That's kind of what they're doing, a little bit easier, more functional, easier for most people to use, even though this has been around forever. It's on all the airbrushes. It's nothing like dramatically different than what used to be. So there's that, this guy here, put him over here, and then this has the brass part here is kind of, it's the same basic as this guy. It's kind of the same part. It's in a kind of a gold brassy color here. We'll unscrew this whole thing. No, actually, get the needle out, and then that whole thing comes out. And we'll look at the trigger here in a second. Okay, so this guy here, you've got the same kind of, okay, between the two, they're basically the same. They're just different colors of brass, probably a little bit higher manufacturing quality in this one. Don't want to mix these up too much. Over here, okay, so that's this guy. And here's your spring. I don't know if you can really tell a difference. They kind of look the same. It's going to be in the tension of the spring. You can buy these in different tensions. So the Mobius trigger feels just a hair smoother, if that's a thing. Okay, and then there's this part here, which threads in forever. We're going to leave it in though, but I'll just show you, pull it all and screw it a little bit. So these parts break down here too. So you can see there's the difference here is it's a lot more complicated machining. There's internal threads, there's 2 sets of external threads, whereas here you just have the 1 set of external threads. So this piece here, this multi-piece with the O-ring is a little bit more of a complicated thing, but they're doing that so that when you pull this out of here, everything kind of comes out as a unit, and then you have what is the biggest difference in the back end is the trigger. So again, you have the plunger style trigger. They've gone to more of the pusher style where the plunger is actually in the body for the air valve. So the plunger's in there. And so when you put this back together, basically you just fit that in there. So super easy, which a lot of people will appreciate that. Now, one thing nobody's talking about, you gotta go run, Josh? Okay, see you later, bud. On the triggers themselves, on the manufacturing of the triggers themselves, this is somewhat of a nuance with airbrushing you have to kind of understand. On the right is your traditional airbrush. It's coming from a round shaft that they've machined flat. And that contact here, that contact point here is like this. And so you have a tiny little part of the circular element bumping into this, even though this has got a little bit of a it has kind of a little bit of a convex to sit over that. So that's your trigger like that. So what's happened on this one is it's a little bit more flat, and traditionally the superior airbrushes in terms of trigger feel, this is a flat surface, and then that should fit up to that, and so that your feel through that contact feel should be a little bit superior. That's the purpose of it. Plus they've done a couple lightning holes in there, maybe for balance. I'm assuming there's some balancing things in here. But that'll fit in there and that'll push down the plunger. So when you put this in, it's not hard. You know what I mean? Like where you're trying to fit, you gotta be really kind of on, let's see, you gotta put the notch backwards. Okay, notch goes back. And then you gotta, that little guy, you gotta kind of make sure, like this is what everybody hates. You have to kind of feel your way in. It's always a little bit hit or miss. There it goes. Okay, now it's in, and you should feel it. So it's a little bit trickier, for sure. Everybody doesn't, most people don't like that. So that's kind of the main trigger difference in what they're doing. The cup threads, everything here is all the same. I gotta speed up. Come on, thread up in there. There it goes, okay. So that's the 98 cup. So the cups are still interchangeable across the board, even with the 2, which has a smaller one, which will show you later. Okay, on the front, let's unscrew this guy, because this is the big difference. And this is what I don't know yet, because I have not sprayed paint through it yet, so I don't know. Okay, we have the old nozzle, and then we have this guy here. So if you see this guy here, okay, let me back up 1 second. Okay, 98 old design, threads there, threads over it on the outside. And then you have that kind of double shaft inside, which is hard to clean. New one, threads inside. The whole nozzle piece just drops in and threads in. So easy to disassemble, easier to disassemble, and much easier to clean in there, in this part of the airbrush. So that's nice, that's an update there. And then the nozzle design itself, this guy is fairly dramatically different in terms of kind of what they've done here, which from my understanding follows some like some other designs too. But it uses kind of, you can see the light catching that, it uses like an S-shaped air groove, whereas these were the little short linear air channels on the original design. So this is 39, 98, 68, and this is Mobius. The big advantage of that, again, not knowing how it sprays yet, so we're all kind of new to that before I get to that. The big advantage is this. So all this does is this just, once you clean it, pops right back in, like boom, done. And then you do this, boom, done. So that part of it's way easier, because what you have to do with this guy is this is a little bit tricky. I mean, it's not hard, don't get me wrong. This isn't like difficult. But you got to get this guy down in there. You got to get him in there, and you got to make sure it's seated properly, for sure. Kind of do it. And I do a wood piece so you don't bend any or hurt anything. Get that seated. It's still easier than the old school miniature nozzles, and then kind of thread that bad boy on there, and boom, done. So not hard, but just different. And this is actually, to me, or their intention was something to be a little bit kind of easier for everybody to do. But I love my 30, I mean, the 98 39s, even though this one's dirty and I got to clean it again, work well. Okay, yeah, and that's what I said. I think they got the design kind of influence from other brands. Not that we care, because all the airbrushes are kind of, everybody just does whatever. So that's that. But it's also, by the way, this is the Mobius 3, I think is around 65 US, so that's also good. Would it be easy to spray primer with a 0.5 tip? It depends on the size of the model, Greg. Let's see, we got to run, okay, what's the price point of the Mobius? Yeah, so 65 on the 3, I believe, or the intro price is 65 or $64.99. on the GAAHLERI website. There will be a link eventually. And then the two, this dude here, which has the built-in MAC valve up here under the thing, and it's got the smaller cap up here. Everything else is fundamentally the same, except it has a 0.2 size, is I believe 75 or 70. You guys know 76 or 75, something like that. About 10 bucks more. Good prices. I expected about double the price for these, to be honest with you, when they came out. Yeah. I was expecting $100 to $150 series. 150 to 200 is what I thought was going to happen. So impressive to them. Yeah, it's just a base airbrush, dude, but whatever. You get a million, doesn't matter. Is an American makeup? No, GAAHLERI's Chinese. Hong Kong, or at least that's the guy I talked to, is in Hong Kong. Okay, now before I screw all this up, let's see what I did. Let me put my 98 back together so I don't lose anything here. We'll go through the fun part of this guy. Again, put the trigger in first. You're just trying to get that little, get that down there. So you want to feel it plunge and push the plunger. This one's pretty easy because this guy just feeds right back in the gap there, and what you're looking for is that tab to come up like that. Boom, okay. Feed the spring. You can do it all in one piece too. You don't have to do it separately like this. Feed this over here and just roll that collar. If these are fresh and kind of gritty, just put a little bit drop of that lube in there, and these will be like butter. The other thing with the Mobius, it does feel like it's been pre-lubricated on all the threads, so it is a little bit kind of more premium feeling when you get it. I like this all the way in. I like the way the trigger, the spring compresses. I like that trigger feel for me. You can adjust it this way, you can loosen it, you know, lighten it up or whatever, lighten that, because you're compressing that spring, so the tighter that spring gets, the firmer the pressure is. I prefer that for higher control. On this guy, I just get it threaded and started. Take the needle. Again, rest your feet, whoops, rest like this. And just gently feed that through there. If you feel anything blocking its way, don't jam it in there. I just gently push that in there. Just a little bit of pressure, lock that down. Double check it. These are easy to do. Just put that through the hole there. Feed this back in. So again, this cutaway, so you can see it, this double function cutaway, if you don't know that, if you have a jam up here or something like that, one quick way is you can pull this knurl back, and that'll actually that'll withdraw the needle from the nozzle, and you can do like an air blow, and sometimes it'll clean it out, so it's kind of a double cleaning, but also you can see that going in and out. So like if you were doing certain things and you wanted to lock that trigger in, I don't use that very much, but it can be useful sometimes where you just want to have it reduces the travel. So you can really kind of just do little bits of whatever. I mean, it's up to you. Practice, practice, practice. Airbrushing is probably outside of a free throw or chip shot or a putt is like the most you have to practice. There's no way around it. There is no way around it. So it's 98, put back together. Let's put the cup back in. And the 98 over the 39 is a little bit higher finishing. You can still see, you can see that there. You can see the machining in here and the machining in here. Now this guy here is actually like one level even above that. What they're doing with the Mobius is slightly chromium. The reason for that is there's less surface grit for the paint to get caught into. So there's that. All right, put this guy back together. Puts that trigger in. Trigger's pretty easy because the ramp goes forward. Put that dude in there. Okay, you need this guy. And then put this guy here. Put the spring on here. This goes over that, and then you can, oops, okay, you can even do it two ways, because the trigger just is floating in there. Get that in there, okay. Just make sure it's on the actual, you want to put that in there, that guy in there. Lock that down, get the brass collar down, locked in, and then you can crank this guy in too. That's the spring tightener. That's your trigger feel. Again, I like mine all the way tight, just for the regular. Now this is going to pop out because the needle's not in there. So what you probably want to do is make sure that's all in there good. Get it back in there. There we go. Put the needle in because that holds that in. I don't like to do it this way. There we go. Okay. I spin it, rotate it in there, get it all the way in there. Okay, now the trigger won't fall out. But then I lock this down because I like my springs compressed. That's just me. You can adjust this knurl or this knob for tension on the trigger. Yeah, it feels a little bit linear, a little bit tighter. I don't mind that myself. Put this guy on. Lock that down, so that should all work. That should, you always double check that, and then you can put this on here. It's pretty fast, pretty quick. Okay, the primer's kicked off nicely. That's back on there. This guy goes back in here, right? Get that guy on there. Come on, get on there. The first thread's a little tricky. Now I can't even get it in the thread. Okay, there we go. All right. Now a couple things. When you're removing and taking off the cups with GAAHLERI, always the one thing I found too is give that a little extra. Not hard, not strong, but just make sure that's snug. You want that seal down there on that Teflon seal. And same thing with this on this guy here. It'll go to like finger tight and just kind of just a little bit, just to make sure everything's seated in there good. That should be good. I recommend with GAAHLERI all of them. Take them apart when you get them. Put them back together. Get used to that. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Sometimes they show up because they've been shipped and stuff. That stuff might loosen up a little bit, etc., etc., etc. Okay, this guy needs the valve, so I need to put the MAC valve back on. What else we got? Okay. Okay. I hate when that knob doesn't come to the front, but that's okay. All right. I don't know how far we'll get. I'll do a simple color, do a Hellblau. I'm not going to do much painting. We're going to run out of time. Oh, chrome, my bad. My bad, before I get farther. Where's the 98? Okay. Yeah, and we need the metal in there real quick. I'll be quick. Okay, doke. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, back to the 98 real quick. Sorry. Forgot the chrome step. So much to talk about today. Very late. Hello, Frank Peroni. How are you, buddy? Question, can the protecting needle crown be removed on these airbrushes? Yeah. I just didn't take it off. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, Mr. Chrome, so Mission Chrome. So I'm using this for aluminum. It's just called chrome. They're aluminums I'm not the biggest fan of. I prefer the chrome. I think it's just a nicer look. No big deal. There'll be a million questions on it. This is pretty thin. This, again, the MMC paints are a little bit different. It's a little bit lot thinner in the bottle, so you can spray this. I just want to put a quick coat of metal down. Putting a couple drops of chrome in there. Oh, wait, because I'm an idiot again. Good Lord, Michael, come on. Shake that real good first. Now you can. Okay. There we go. Okay, a little chrome in there. Okay, it's too much. Okay, and this guy. Ooh, a little too much. I'm hustling. Okay, same thing. First layer. Ah! Oh, damn it. Come here. Okay. Jesus Christ. Alright, I went too fast. Give a cool look to it. Paint really responds to heat nicely. A couple layers. I think I had some stuff in the airbrush. I didn't fully flush it out. That's my bad. All right, really what we're doing is kind of a base layer of metal. That's all we're trying to do. No, dude, it's just one of those days. Let it sit for a second. I'm going too fast. The problem with a lot of this stuff is that I am hustling a little bit too quickly. Let me read the chat. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to use whatever I've got here on hand. I'll do a light and then a little bit of camo pattern on top. No problem. We'll just see how they are. We're just trying to see how the airbrushes paint. I don't really care about the colors too much. But what else? Chinese or not? They have put their. Yeah, no, they're fine. I wouldn't be here using them if they're like if this is all Chinese thing. It's nothing to do with that. These guys are great. So far, they're great. What else? Mobius is $100 cheaper. I'm just reading chat real quick while that kind of kicks off. Kind of blasted it down. Oops, oopsie. Wouldn't be easier to spray primer. Okay, any other questions? Everybody good? Everybody chilling? Yeah, so just to recap, did the decals. If you missed the stream, if you're late to the stream, did some mission models, you know, paint wear and tear, whole thing, kind of what I'm doing on the fuselage here. I'm letting this kick off. I think I had some cleaner in the airbrush, some thinner in the airbrush. I didn't flush it properly. So we'll let that kick off and then we'll dry it. We'll paint over it. It's not gonna be a big deal. It's just a test piece. But decals, how to do it, first part of the stream, we got some pretty good points across, I hope, or at least useful points for how to do it. And with decals too, in a similar vein, it doesn't matter the paint. I find that when you're really precise with your applications of your solutions and stuff like that, you'll get a better result. If you want to use a varnish, use a varnish. Like, nobody cares. Like, don't worry about it. If I don't use a varnish, don't worry about it. That's kind of my attitude now with all that stuff. Because it gets to become so back and forth and back and forth. And so unless you do this a lot, yeah, oh, Josh Coffee, I missed his thing with the varnish in the paint. Yeah, Tank Art 2, KV1, put the varnish in the paint. That's where he got it from, by the way, because nobody gives credit anymore for anything in this world. Still waiting on my replacement quick needle from them. Whoever runs their IG was great. Yeah, I know he's nice. The things are fine with Gallery, whatever their name. Question to protect the needle. Yep. I'm just letting this kind of kick off so when I hair dry it, it doesn't blow it all around like a liquid. But that's not bad. It's got a nice sheen to it. Again, I'm using it for aluminum. Okay. Back in the game. This stuff loves heat. All right, so. Okay, not bad. Yeah, the chrome kicks off pretty good with the heat. That's, you can paint right over that. It'll be a little, you can see that's pretty, I mean, it's shiny-esque, it's fine. Again, it's for aluminum, not for chrome. I don't really ever use or need chrome, so I don't make chrome paint, chrome products, or chrome models. What do we got here? Okay. This dude, yep. Clean first, metallic. Yeah, so my 98 got primer and metallic today. Yeah, this will be fun. I'll have to strip it down later and really clean it good. But it's still working good. It did a solid job. Got the job done. Again, I'm just kind of bulk flushing that with water. Cleaning it out, I'll put a couple drops of thinner in this. Okay, just get them off the hose so we can use it, so we can move on. Okay. All right. So this is my first time painting with the Mobius. I've not used it yet. Did that help with the gallery though? Did showing between the two styles? Did it help with that? Hopefully it did. Okay, we'll do the 3 first as kind of the base coat, and then we'll do some camo painting, you know, kind of fun stuff with the thing, and we'll call it a day before the roof collapses. Okay, right. Make sure this works, make sure I put it back together. Okay. What do I got here? Okay. It's a little high pressure. I'm just testing it. It does feel different in the hand. Okay, why is that? Oh, hold on 1 second. Hair is staying on though. Trigger's like sticking in there. Interesting. It's going on point with the day today. I'm telling you that right now. I'm about to. All right, what is? Hold on 1 second. I probably assembled it a little bit too tight and too incorrect. Get this guy out of here. Yeah, the whole thing will come out. That's a gnarly little device, right? All right, let's rebuild it one more time, like the $6 million man. All right, now I can't wait. There you go. Okay. second. Hold on a second here. Sorry about this, guys. Just not my day-to-day. First one of the year is a little rocky. Put that back in there. It's back in here. I don't like that actually. Here, put this on. All right, try this one more time, Senor. There we go. Get that in there. Oh man. What I found with GAAHLERI airbrushes, I will say this too. They do tend to have a break-in period, so we'll see how this goes. The 39 had a little bit of a break-in period too, and maybe there needs to be a drop of lube in there too, just because it's brand new. And I'm not one to spray without the back handle. I don't really care for the imbalance situation. I do put that back on. Let's try it one more time. I sprayed this earlier with water and it was fine, so it's just my putting it back together. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just me problem. It's just a Ronaldo problem. Don't worry about it. All right. Where is my paint? What am I doing here? Okay, this guy. I don't know if I've used this yet. Okay, I have. Okay. Let me just mix this real good. Yeah, it's probably late. It's already like 3 a.m. in Europe, so there's not many left. Still a good crowd though. Okay. Just pouring left-handed, that's weird. Okay, we're just gonna do a light Hellblau, no big deal. 65, yeah. And they have the blue one too. They have the other one, the bluer one, but anyhow. And that's what I'm looking for, kind of a nice creamy consistency right there. I'm looking at the speed of that runoff, as long as it flows down nice and kind of quickly and doesn't go like hyper transparent, then you know it's in a pretty good spot. All right, let me get my schnizzle pie on. Let's see if we can do this without. First time using Mr. 3.3 here on the Mobius. Pour that in. All right. Same thing, do a quick little test. Sprays immediately. There's no trigger lag compared to the 39 and 98s. You know, there's that little hype, half a second thing. Crank up the pressure a little bit. See, that's the break-in. You can kind of hear that. It needs to be painted with a little bit, but it's working fine. Let's try it over said. That's a little high pressure. Okay, that's first coat there. Again, mission, heat it. I do this with all my paint anyway. It's really cool looking. I don't know how well you guys can see this. If I was doing, say, like a 45, 46 derelict left in the field, I don't know if you can see that the metallic is kind of shimmering through the chrome. I don't know if you guys can. It probably doesn't show up on camera too well. Yeah. See how it's got kind of a shimmer? It's got a slight shimmer to it. In person, you can kind of see between the particles a little bit. Let me do just a quick little. Okay. Sounding better. So by the way, like I said, break-in period. As the parts start to get paint around them, does seem to want to work a little better. And I noticed that with the other galleries too. So it's a brand new thing. Okay. Same thing. This coat number 2, a little bit more even. Again, it's just a nice coat of 65 Hellblau. Really matte paint too. Nice. We're done. Goes that fast actually most days, to be honest with you. Just that's about as much as you need to worry about. Yeah, let's see, you guys can, you know, dying over here, starving. Yeah, that's not bad. And all I'm looking for is just a smooth base coat. Like, I mean, it's no big deal. Yeah, so it's fine. All right, so let's flush this out. We'll swap to the 0.2, see how that does. And I'm not going to break that one apart. We're just going to roll. It's the same as the 3, it just has the extra thing in the front, which you won't touch anyway. You shouldn't. Q-tip. So you can see here in the cup of the 3, it's very, very chromy inside, very smooth in there. Like everything just beating off of it, so it should just wipe off almost, you know, perfectly well. Yeah, super easy to clean. So it's a little bit easier to clean. It cleans like the 98. And because the cups are interchangeable, I'm sure at some point in time these will be available separately. And you know, if you want to add them to your other brushes, it does make a little bit of nicer difference with the cleaning and stuff like that for all these kind of tasks. Let's pull this guy off. Just kind of doing a quick, I'm not going to pull the needle out or anything, but same thing before, pull the needle back. Don't push the air down. Okay. And then just run a drop or two of. Get this out of the way before you ruin it. Okay. All right, so that's the 3, works great. Awesome. Nice update. I think, you know, technology-wise, I think what they're doing is that, you know, they're moving in the right direction. And for the price, I mean, that's again, their price points are outstanding. So let's pull over number 2, this dude here. So this guy has the built-in MAC valve up here, so I should be able to click right into that. And then you have to kind of learn the, yeah, so it's a, what is that? A counterclockwise opens it, but you reverse, so you have to kind of remember then kind of that it's actually a clockwise, but it looks counter to your hand. That'll close that up. And again, just a reminder, I run my compressor at 15, just for me, it works for me. What else? Am I missing other comments? Probably a lot. Did you use a thin the Hellblau with what? Did you thin the Hellblau with water odorless thinner? What? It's all mission, Greg. I don't know why you. Is it? Am I missing something here? Like, it's mission thinner, dude. It's always this. Like, I don't thin mission paint with water. I mean, you can. I don't though. You guys are killing me with this stuff. All right. Now, next color. And the other thing too is also, by the way, the 2 has a smaller cup up top, but this will screw into, I've already tested it, it will screw into all the other airbrushes too, by the way. So again, hopefully they bring out the little bit, most of us are used to these in the kind of the military kind of conversation. I'm getting a little air leak down here. Wait, just because I should screw that on better. Okay. All right. Yeah, patience is something nice today. Just picking a green. What do we got here? Dunkel Grün, RLM 83. What do I have? Olive Grün. Yeah, we'll just do this. I'm just going to do a little bit of spraying with this. I'm not going to get I'm super burnt out. But thankfully, everything else went fairly smooth today. So back to this, the Aviattic decals for texture, for textiles. Looking pretty nice. It's dry. It's already on there good. You'd want to matte coat that for, you know, for that type of thing. They are pretty shiny. Same with this guy. Yeah, that went down nice too. And the camera will pick that up. I mean, you can kind of see, but there's a little bit of kind of a textile quality to it with the Aviattic decals, which is really nice. 1996 Revell decals are garbage. Don't use them. Okay. All right. What am I doing here? Getting another color. Fresh bottle. A lot of these colors I've never used before, of course. So when you unseal a new mission, it should look creamy smooth like that, fresh and clean and glossy. Okay. Grab your stir stick. You want to get that in there and stir the fresh brand new bottle just like this. looks like a good bottle of paint. 2021, yeah, it's one of the new ones. Do a quick more double shake. Greg Neufeld says, perhaps ask, how does the airbrush stand up? I don't use hardware steam but they're nice. They work great. The airbrush works great. I mean, if an airbrush works great, it works great. You know, I mean, there's kind of that weird, like, how's it? They're all fine, dude. If you can do what you can do with your airbrush, it's honestly, they're all good. You know, airbrush to me, in reality, is your comfort zone in terms of like how you like to operate, trigger feel, cleaning. I don't like side feed cuts because cups, you know, the cups that come off the side because they're double cleaning because you have the different joints. I use them for years. Decided I like the gravity feeds better. It's so on and so forth and things of that nature. Airbrushes are personal in that level, but they're all kind of the same. Like you can take even the master one, even the non-gallery Chinese airbrushes, and if you know what you're doing, you can still spray fairly well with them. Because with airbrushing, it's this, my friends. It's all this. It's all in the thinning. You can liquefy anything and put it through. We're going to over thin a little bit, and you should be able to spray. I think the airbrush conversation is way too convoluted in terms of like what's a good airbrush, what's not. It's really up to you more than the airbrush half the time, to be honest with you. They all have their little issues. It's like front engine and rear engine stuff, but I mean, it's no big deal. I've never had more conversation about airbrushes than I picked these things. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, just paint the damn stuff. My German is aggravated. Yes, it is, Greg. You were in particular, and I'm just messing with you. It's all. I mean, I'm just irritated because it's just having a rough stream in terms of things are kind of funky. All right, and we will do. I promise we will do the weathering part of this in another section, and we can showcase the Swallowtail, which is another airbrush they make. Like it's a custom version of this guy, but it does come with 3 different nozzles. With the Swallowtail, I have it. I haven't even used it yet. So I didn't airbrush a lot over the holidays. That is for sure. All right. Okay. Okay, so again, I've never sprayed with this other than spraying some water earlier. Oop, we were blasting. Close that down. Oops, that's open. My bad. See, that's what you have to kind of learn. Okay. So I kind of over-thin the paint a little bit. Okay, let me get my eyeballs on I'm so tired. Probably screw this up, but whatever. It's all good. And I'm just spraying. I'm not doing a pattern or anything like that. It just feels really. Hold on, I want to go lower. Hold on. Dropping the pressure. Okay. Kind of adjust this. I've never used this guy before, so hold on. Okay, that trigger. Hold on. I can't even see, dude. Not the biggest fan of the spiral. There we go. Okay, so when you over-thin the paint, you want to lower the pressure. I'm trying to find kind of that sweet spot. Okay, are we on camera? Okay, yeah, just making sure. Okay, too high pressure. Okay, hold on. It's really, the MAC valve here is what's the word? It's not as sensitive as the other valves. Now you could run it in here. You could set this up at full open just like the other ones, and you could run the other one in there if you wanted to. Just trying to find. Yeah, I'm too low pressure now, too spotty. It's not too bad. A little bit of overspray, but that's also the very first time I've used this guy. I'm not set up for tighter freehand camo. I'm not braced enough for this, so hold on. The camera's right in my head, so it's not fun to paint like this, but yeah, that comes flying out. Hold on. Yeah, there's kind of it's interesting. Might be too thin on the paint, to be honest with you. I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to lock in the air pressure. Let me do this. I'm gonna actually, because I think with that kind of setup, let's go a hair thicker on the paint. Hold on one second. What kind of camera are you using? It's iPhone 14 Pro. And it's all through 1080p. It's a little bit better. They've updated the stuff, but also I use Elgato cam software. So it's an app to turn the phone into a webcam from Elgato, and then that runs through StreamYard, and it's condensed, but it's better than it used to be for sure, right? I mean, that's definitely way better than it used to be. But it's all compressed down to like 1080 through the streaming, because you can't really stream in 4K. Although a 4K camera will give you a little bit better output. So I'm going a little bit thicker with the paint. I put another drop in there. Let me see if that helps. I might have been just a hair too thin. Let me do a little. But also first day using airbrush, so it may need to break in too, by the way. I mean, it sprays fine with that. Like, I mean, it sprays totally fine. What I'm trying to do is get that real hyper precision now. Trigger's fine. I like the trigger. It's a little bit short on the stroke, so when you're pushing down for air, and people were complaining that you push down for air and the paint came out. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pushing down for air and yeah, there's no paint coming out. The travel though, you get response quickly. So like I said, the trigger design, the shape of that shaft should give you a little bit more improved feel. And that does seem to be the case. But what I'm trying to do now is adjust this MAC valve up here. I don't know how, it seems really sensitive, like just a millimeter turn, you get differences. I'm probably getting just a smidge of tip dry too. Hold on here. Just clean this up. Yeah, this one's actually a little bit more challenging than I expected, to be honest with you. Okay, here. Clean that up in there. And again, there's no rush. Model building is patience. You know, it really is. Hold on a sec, I'm just testing. Okay. Can't say hold on. Everybody still there? That's a little bit better. Got to kind of balance it up pretty quick. It's not too bad. It needs a little bit more practice. I need to probably master that kind of break-in period a little bit in terms of the MAC valve. Get used to that. But I am kind of after getting into airbrushes like publicly like this, dude, it's exhausting. You guys are like Ford and Chevy, and it fucking kills me, to be honest with you. I cannot stand just the blitz of questions on airbrushing. Thin the paint, get it through the airbrush, get the stuff on the model. That's really what it's about. If you like a certain way things are with your airbrushes, then just use them, because this is trying to juggle min and airbrush conversations is just like, well, my carburetor is better than your carburetor is what it becomes to, and you're like, dude, it's okay. But you can, you know, once you, and I mean that sincerely, like once you practice and master your tool, you can do whatever you want. I mean, that's not actually that bad. I'm fine with that. Super fine with that, actually. Okay, I'm not exactly positioned. I'd have this in a clamp and have it positioned just right, but. Yeah, I think I'm too thin in my mix for sure. And the pressure's a little high. It's really tough to get that pressure. I could adjust everything if I wanted to, but I'm trying to see how this MAC valve works. I had barely got the trigger open. It's super chill. I don't like freehanded too much like that. It's a little bit gnarly. Not bad. That's not too bad. You know, the 0.2 does get down there, because you can do this with the 0.3s and the 0.5s and stuff. You can get some pretty refined lines. It's not terrible. Again, I'm just testing. I'm not trying to be like super motley and perfect, whatever. I don't really care about that. Not at this particular junction. Again, because also, like I've said a few times, the break-in period is important. I find the airbrush works quite a bit better after 2 or 3 times. Okay. Now for a process I hope works really well, because I've had about enough of the tomfoolery. Okay. Now it's fabric back here, so whatever, but we're fine. As this brush dries out, and you guys can see, get you right. See the burnishing happening? You can see the burnishing? There's like one spot where this thing focuses. It's not. Here, capture the light here. Come on. So that's the chrome starting to peek through a little bit too. So it's more of an abrasive type wear and tear versus hard chipping. Really dry that, really get that water out of the brush, out of the barrel. You can also, a couple things you can do with mission paint that's pretty cool. So I'm just putting the, whoops, don't fumble that. I'm just putting the water directly on the paint right now because the paint does react, which is pretty cool. Again, you can kind of see the burnishing there around the cockpit side. See how that kind of darkens that gray up a little bit, the Hellblau. Just rotate that around. Like trying to pre-weather before you get into pin washes and some other stuff. Just the way this paint reacts to certain things. And this would be all kind of a roadmap I would develop before I got to the oil paints. So really light, delicate, controlled kind of wear and tear with the water. And you can also get a little bit more specific too. Same thing, you always want to unload the brush, get that water out of there. Kind of come in here. You get kind of aggressive around the wing roots a little bit. And we'll do some weathering, a lot of this stuff later. We'll do some more continuation with this guy. I'm just kind of getting a little bit of a patina in the paint there. But with that matte paint, you'll see it burnishes up pretty good, so it starts pulling that aircraft sheen, which is nice. Kind of wear and tear that up a little bit too. You can take it pretty aggressive if you want. I'll get to questions here in a sec. I just want to have a little bit of a win or two before we wrap up. Kind of before you get into the exhaust standing too, you can kind of come in here and kind of, you know, alter that color a little bit. The nice thing with Mission, because of the way it reacts with water, you can really start to impart some interesting effects into it. And then there is this too, but I don't know how applicable it would be to this guy, but in particular if I can showcase it. Where's my thingy? Okay. Everybody good? Can't wait for the OPR set. Sorry, I missed the initial drop. No, you're fine. You're totally fine, Tanya. Don't worry. Everybody's good. I'm okay with lacquer-based acrylics. Cool. Right on, right on. All right, all right, all right. It's kind of fun too. So with the Mission paint, you can kind of just let that set up a little bit too. Let that water go in. Okay. Love when people roll in like 3 years later. Yeah. Okay. No, we dropped lacquers about a decade ago, brother, but we're fine. Beautiful finish on this too, by the way. You know, this weathering technique, Jacob Poloth. Yeah, it's a combination patina wear and tear, pre-weathering. Weathering I tend to treat as kind of getting things dirty. It's gonna be kind of interesting because a lot of the aircraft guys that are coming in late to what we do here at RSP with the weathering and the way this stuff goes. I mean, there's a lot of videos for you guys watching, you know, kind of get caught up with. I'm a little bit tired, so my personality is a little bit dull today. I apologize for that, but after the double stream thingy, what I'm doing is letting the water kind of air dry into that and just kind of starts to impart kind of just a general context of age. We get into oil paint weathering, oil paint rendering a little bit later. But yeah, this is kind of a pre-weathering kind of conversation. You get markings on right about this point in time too, stencils, whatever you're doing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're using lacquers, dude, whatever. It's like, I can't even deal with it, right? Can't even explain the differences of what's going on with your health and why you're doing this and everything else. But yeah, no, I mean, I stopped using lacquers a decade ago. In case you don't know, I just don't care. You know, run what you brung. It's kind of run what you brung, right? You know, there's no reason to. There's modern acrylics today that do so many cool things, and Mission is one of them. But I mean, that right there, you can see the light catching the tail and the variations in the sheen. I mean, when you start studying the references for real, when you start looking at certain things, you know, you start kind of getting into it a little bit here. I got the heel. Oh, fuck off. What am I doing here? Luftwaffe in focus. You know, when you're looking at kind of the differences between mattes and sheens and everything, you know, you're trying to kind of achieve, you know, the variations. But this is kind of what I'm talking about, kind of getting in between here a little bit, stuff like this. You know, varnishes kill all that, makes it really hard. That's hard to see with black and white, but you know, you get a little bit over here. Skin on frame, it's a different context than heat treated steel and stuff of that nature too, by the way. I mean, here, you know, it's not a perfect world. Pretty straightforward. Early war. A lot of these are really well maintained too for certain periods of time. I'm kind of doing maybe more of a 44, 45. You know, you look at what you're kind of looking up at is kind of up in here, this kind of stuff. So it gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more, you know, you go between, when you look at this, clearly this has been around a little bit longer, so you get kind of more of a, you know, the matte distress look here, and then you get a little bit of variations between the markings and stuff. So really what I'm focusing in on is being able to control this when you get to the final stages of stuff. That's really, you're in the kind of what you're seeing today with the decals and what I'm doing with the airbrushing and everything like that is very, very early days of setting this up. You know, when you get into stuff like this, and what you're kind of dealing with is because you have other, it's not one pure varnish surface, if you know what I mean, to really get kind of the, kind of whatever, you know, kind of the variations between all that. So, yeah. See the light, okay, dude. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, we're good. Just don't have time for this today. What else are we doing here? I'm looking for some good kind of just sheen reference here. But that's really the heart of it, is you have to start, obviously we have a whole talk. I mean, you go from, you know, getting this kind of stuff lined up. Most of this, in terms of the weathering context, traditionally I would treat weathering as kind of dirt and you know, things like that, you know, weathered stuff. You know, when you're getting into this, we call this weathered, but really a lot of this is paint work in here. The weathering is kind of mostly the dirt and the grime it gets, but you can see the scratches and the metal peeking through and some other stuff like that. So I tend to do a lot of, you know, this is kind of what I would consider when I get into the weathering. So I do a lot of work in paint, even though we're putting patina in it, we call it weathered. I separate it out is another way to go in terms of really treating this as like a pure, you know, painting versus a weathering context. So when we do this, we're still in painting mode, and it's really just about kind of putting in that initial, it's actually not half bad. I mean, the Hobby Boss kit, once you kind of just ignore the rivets everywhere, it's not half bad. They're well done, they're very tight, but you know, you can see right there along the cockpit seal, you're getting a little bit of kind of that chrome peeking through a little bit, so you're starting to get that look of, you see there's a little bit of the boot scuffs, you know, the bristles kind of, let's see if the light can catch that, dude. Come on. Trying to really get that there. You're getting a little bit of the boot scuffs through here. There's a couple little scuffs in the paint. I don't know if you guys can see those. The light will catch it. There it goes, just a smidge. So it kind of gives it that look of kind of like his parachute harness and all that when he's climbing over that sill, and you know, when they're doing stuff like this and so on and so forth. When that seatbelt is draped over, that metal is going to be cutting into the paint, you know, and you're getting a little bit of wear and tear through here. So it's really starting to put all that in there right now. Pretty simple. It's not additive, so it looks exactly as what it should look like, which is a key aspect to all of this. And from there, it's just the color. I mean, just again, I just painted some stuff just to paint some stuff with the paint. But this guy, I have to play with it some more. This is a pretty sensitive MAC valve, I will say that much. So what I might do is maybe see how it sprays fully open, and then put a MAC valve here and just see what it goes, because this one here you get a little bit more like tuning finesse out of it. But these are older, and maybe this needs to be broken into a little bit. You know, it does blast for it too, though. That does hum out of there pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. But you can see the two really gave you that. You know, if you're looking, that would be in 70. That gets into the 72nd scale squiggles too. You know, the refinement of that level there, even though it's on a 48 fuselage. You know, the width of that line is about a mil, maybe just over a millimeter, and some of these are pretty good. So tweaking that and tuning that, and the way you would do is I would do this exactly the same. I'd have a cheap Hobby Boss kit like this, or, you know, they're good surface detail, and then you go into your real one after you've really practiced on something like this, you know, kind of conversation. That's actually not bad. Actually, when I look at that from like kind of eyeball this, like, you know, arm's distance, that actually came in. So at least we finished the stream pretty good. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, really like how that came out right in there too. But I don't know, you know, yeah, you can see just the difference in the colors between that and the Hellblau, and it's starting to blow up too. Their Hellblau is interesting. Missions Hellblau, where did I put it? Yeah, because they do this one and they do, yeah. So they have both versions, but this one has quite a bit of blue in it too, and so it does kind of blue up nicely. I think a blue and bluish color. It's got a nice tint to it for late war stuff. But yeah, fuck me, dude. Fucking stream. Don't get paid enough for this stuff. All right. Any questions? We'll wrap up here. We've gone forever, way over time. Not the stream. I want to keep these at 2, and this is pushing 4. Kill me now. Yeah. Technical difficulties. At least the lag went away. I just found that my local hobbyist is carrying a full-on MMP. Yeah. Great paint. You know, I'm not going to get into lacquer versus whatever. I'm not just banding. These guys just bounce them out of here. Just whatever, dude. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. No. Yeah. No, that's I mean, even for a quick test, that's fine. I mean, it's smooth and tight. You know, when you're looking at it with the naked eye, it's a little bit tough on the camera. There's no real paint imperfections in terms of, you know, mission versus the 0.3 and the 0.2. So in terms of endorsing the airbrush, the Mobius stuff, system works good. Again, with the 0.2, this takes a little bit of practice, you know, this way and this way. Maybe a little bit more sensitive than I would like or prefer personally, but I can give them, you know, company feedback, and they'll at least take it under consideration. Maybe they can adjust this a little bit moving forward, because it does not take much to just change the pressure, change the volume of paint coming out. Trigger feel is better for sure, although the thing with trigger feel too, by the way, it's a little bit like a throttle on the car. Once you drive that car for a few times, like you know how the throttle works, if you know what I mean. Like if this has a little hesitation in the front, you kind of drive around it a little bit if you know there's that. So that's what I'm saying with airbrushes. It's so Ford versus Chevy, like nobody cares, because if once you get used to it, you can do whatever you want with it. And that to me is way more important than is this one better than that one. It doesn't make any sense to me. So there are some nuances for sure, and I'm not going to deny the 300 plus price range or 200, you know, expensive ones are a little bit more premium, but you know, that's a $65 and a $75 airbrush doing some pretty solid work there. I'm not unhappy with that at all. And there's very little overspray outside of the first initial splatters, but I kind of went over those. And then the mission chipping is next level. That's with no varnish, no hairspray, no nothing too, by the way. So yeah. All right, boys and girls, we're out. We're done. Anything else? You're welcome. I hope the decal part helped, and everything else. And then probably I'm gonna try to do a stream once a month for sure. So we'll probably see you in February. As soon as SM4 shows up, the book jackets should be here next week. You'll probably see newsletters on that. So I will update. I didn't say anything about technique guides. When we finish SM4 off the press, then we clear up space for the technique guides on press because we have to go kind of one at a time, or kind of one and then two. We're gonna do the technique guides together for that. So it shouldn't be too long. We expect to be printing those in February. We expect to have SM4 here this month sometime. No promises when. I will update everybody as it happens. And then we'll get into SM5 and 6, and there's a bunch of stuff coming after that. So for now, outside of the technical difficulties, thank you for hanging in there today. There's still quite a few of you sitting in here watching, so I'm good with that. But I'm also quite, overall, I'm more grumpy than anything else. Grumpy old man today. I could be hungover too. Yeah, cursed. I should have stayed home last night. Yeah, I like that. That's not bad. You can do stuff with that. And you can see a little bit of the water speckling in there that did a little bit of the splatters. It gives you a little kind of an early patina wear and tear in there. You can kind of work around some weird, interesting nuances to this. Or you can go pretty clean too, by the way. That's not bad. You know, mask that off, paint that stuff. Here. I get yelled at for this too. It's just the cheapy Chinese air tape. I'm just gonna get off my finger. Be a little bit rough on purpose. Okay. One piece of tape. Yeah, it's fine. And that's over the chrome too. I yanked that pretty good. And this is not as strong as Tamiya tape, but you can just do a little quick detack. You know, you can come in here and you can you know, paint your rudder yellow or whatever you're doing, red. You know. And I don't like burnish that down crazy. You just get the edge just kind of sharp like that, and that's all you do. And then, you know, there, nothing. You're fine. Don't have any issues with it. It's all user error. Everything is user error. Everything's fucking user error, dude. Oh, hope there's no kids. Sorry for the language today. Yeah. Rough and tumble. Get some rest. Watch a night game. A little bit of more football coming up. But yeah, overall, I mean, that's still pretty solid. And Patreon will probably continue with this a little bit for sure. Again, good base kit for testing and stuff like that. Great stuff for that. I didn't actually get into it. I will leave you on this guy. Come here. And this, Travis will see this later. He'll laugh. So I did go ahead and pursue this a little bit further. Put some weight in the nose to get up there. Okay, so same thing. Primer, chrome, mission olive drab on a Italeri Huey. And I decided to go ahead and see how, like everybody says, it's like one of the worst fitting kits. It's not that bad at all, actually. A little bit of work, a little bit of elbow grease. Putting it together now. We'll go ahead and do some stuff. I'll paint up the interior. You just have to do a little bit more sanding for this thing to fit well. Everything's kind of taped together, but in terms of kind of that patina wear and tear, and I've been handling this quite a bit, so it is getting a little bit more glossy from that. You see a little bit, got a little bit of the chrome peeking through there too. That's what I'm using the chrome for. It gives you a really nice scale of aluminum underneath the paint. Looks pretty tight. So we'll be doing that too on Patreon pretty soon. You get some Hilo stuff. Because as I said, and I'll wrap up on this guy, I'll be doing some more in the H34 too. Doing all that stuff. This is all, it's all the same process. It's all muy importante, all wrapped into one. All right, what else? Anything else? Whoop, there we go. Just Kabuki tape or whatever they call that off of eBay, Chinese tape. Okay, good night, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you all for in the European staying up so late. Nog and all you boys in Australia, New Zealand, have a good day. Japan, have a good day. Thank you, Northern, for coming in. Keith, thank you guys. Frank, see you. You're welcome. Ken, Wayne, Motley looks good. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm probably being more grumpy. That actually came out pretty good at the end of the day. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. I guess because I'm Pacific Northwest, I should root for Washington, but I kind of want to see what Michigan does. See you later, Sylvain. Have a good day, everybody. Happy New Year again. We'll catch you soon in the next stream, and we'll see you on Patreon and Discord and all that good stuff. So take care. Peace. I'm out.